Hello, I'm Dynast Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Dynast Amir. I'm out.
Peace, family. I hope all is well. I hope today's Tuesday. I hope your Tuesday is going well. Do me a favor, hit the like button again. Please hit the like button. Also share and make sure you subscribe. Again, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new. Listen, if you are not subscribed, please join the Search for Uhuru family. Again, please join the Search for Uhuru family. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Again, shout out everyone in the chat room. Yes, this is a long form. Listen, guys, this isn't I've been trying to mix things up. I'll do some long form, meaning longer shows where the the content or the video, when I'll take callers. There we go. I'll do some long shows where I will take, dang, this thing is shaking, in which I will take callers. So yeah, this is going to be a call-in show. There we go. This is going to be a call-in show. So, we're still going to focus on the call-in shows, at least 4 or 5 times a week. At least 4 or 5 times a week. We're going to continue to do the call-in shows. But first of all, before we get started, guys, listen, if you have not bought the documentary, please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Again, please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary if you have not bought the documentary. I will greatly appreciate it, family. Again, if you have not bought the documentary, hold on, that's weird. Where's this? Is this right here? Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Guys, I think they've changed some of the okay, there we go. Yeah, I think they've changed some of these settings on the on StreamYard. Yeah, I think they've changed some of the settings on StreamYard. There we go. If you have not bought the documentary, oh, Juanita, I gotta call you. Juanita, listen. I'm gonna call you at the end of the show. Listen, Juanita, do me a favor. When this show is over, Juanita, as soon as it's over, call me. Like, as soon as it's over, call me, okay? Juanita, I'm so sorry. I forgot to call you back. I apologize. Shout out to Sister Juanita. She did some work for me on the site, on the Donfo site, which we're going to get into. So, Sister Juanita, do me a favor and call me. Or you know what? I can just answer. Call you can call me anytime. You got my number. Or I'll just answer your question right now. Atlanta, Juanita, are you in? I don't know if you want to disclose your location, but I know you're in Texas, but just let me know. I can answer the question now, or not call me, or you can call me whenever. But I apologize. But I'll say this: if you're currently, say, in Houston or Dallas or Austin, and if you're doing well there, unless you have some type of opportunity lined up here in Atlanta that makes business sense, I wouldn't move to Atlanta. That's just me personally. I wouldn't move to Atlanta. Okay, if you're in Dallas and if you're doing fine in Dallas, if you're doing good in Dallas, if you're striving and not surviving, again, if you're striving and not just surviving in Dallas and you're doing good, you're doing well, you know, I personally wouldn't move to Atlanta unless you got here we go. Moving from Dallas to Atlanta would be a lateral move, if that makes sense. It'll be a lateral move. Unless you got something going on here in Atlanta, something lined up that makes sense. But if you just want to move to Atlanta for, just to I don't know, for something new. I want to experience something different. If you're on that, I want to experience something different. I wouldn't move to Atlanta. Yeah, I'll stay in Dallas. I would stay in Dallas if I were you. Yeah, I wouldn't move here. I would stay in Dallas or go to Houston. But I heard Dallas is cool. See, Juanita, that's the thing about Atlanta. Atlanta, I'm gonna tell you what somebody told me, and I'm going to offend a lot of my AT aliens in the chat room. Atlanta is black faces, but no black culture. You have a lot of black faces, but no black culture. I mean, when you think of Atlanta, what do you think? When it comes to culture in Atlanta, what do you think? Atlanta housewives, trap music, freaknik, strip clubs. Like somebody told me a long time ago, Atlanta, a lot of black faces, but no black culture. A lot of black faces, but no culture. Civil rights. Well, civil rights is over. I mean, think about it. Now. If you consider all of that to be black culture, then yeah, okay, come to Atlanta. If trap music and Atlanta housewives, if that what you call black culture, then hey man, then come to Atlanta. Like I said, I came back to Atlanta because the real estate is cheap, but the real estate is not cheap anymore. That's changed. Atlanta was a good place. If you wanted to scoop some good cheap real estate, you got the world's busiest airport. Then yeah, come to Atlanta. HBCUs are the foundation of the culture. I mean, okay. I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, I guess you could say that. I mean, Atlanta could have been the modern day Black Wall Street, but the ninjas ruined it. Now I'm gonna tell you what happened. It's a very good documentary. It's called it's with Jackson, Maynard Jackson, who was, I believe, he was Atlanta's first black mayor. He was Atlanta's first black mayor. He had it going in that direction Then the Olympics came. And when the Olympics came, he had to shift in a different direction. So Atlanta was on the verge of being Black Wall Street, and he still have it somewhat where you could kind of, I mean, there are a lot of Black-owned businesses here in Atlanta. I'm not going to say there's not. But then to get the Olympics, Maynard Jackson had to kind of shift from that, from the blackity black, persona. He had to shift for the Olympics. And the Maynard Jackson documentary is a real good documentary. It should still be on Netflix. Real good documentary. And it talks about that. That's why you say I want to move to Atlanta for the culture. I'm like, I mean, yeah, there are a lot of Black faces, Black people everywhere, Black people doing well. But when you say culture, like what? I mean, okay, trap music. You see, Atlanta's completely trying to distance itself from trap music. I mean, so what are you talking about? Like I said, Atlanta was great if you wanted to kind of reinvent yourself, get you some cheap real estate. But those days are over. I would just stay in Dallas or go to Houston. But yeah, there are Black people doing. I just don't want people to get offended because I know people could take that the wrong way. Yeah, there are Black people doing very well in Atlanta. I'm doing very well in Atlanta. Atlanta's good, but if you want to come, yeah. If you want to come for Black professionals and entrepreneurs, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Atlanta's definitely it's here. It's here. Atlanta's here. Yeah, it's here. Atlanta's definitely cool. So, but yeah, but Atlanta's changed, man. It's not when I first moved to Georgia in 2000, you got that like Black. Here we go. When I think here, I'm sorry. Here we go. Let me step back. Let me step back. When you think Black culture, especially in the South, you think Southern hospitality, right? You think that Southern hospitality. That is gone now. That Southern hospitality completely gone. When I first came to Georgia, and I used to be in Atlanta back in early 2000, everybody spoke, "How you doing, sir?" Everybody respectful. That's gone now. So when I say the culture, I meant the hospitality. That hospitality aspect, that Black Southern hospitality, even when he was in the hood, even in the trap, no matter where you're at in Atlanta. When I say Black faces and no culture, like you got Black faces, but that Southern hospitality aspect is gone. Again, that Southern hospitality aspect is gone. That's what I meant to say. Again, I don't want to offend anybody. I live in Atlanta. Atlanta's a great place. Well, I mean, Atlanta's good. Atlanta's a great place. I would say where I've never been to Savannah. No, I mean I'm serious. But I've been let's see here. There are plenty of good informative documentaries on them on YouTube. Yeah, but the Netflix documentary on Maynard Jackson was real good. That's what I meant to say. Let me reword it because I just, I got very, very close friends um here in Georgia, here in Atlanta. And I don't want them mad. All right. The hospitality, just the everyday hospitality in the South, I can't speak for the South, in Atlanta is gone. It's not here anymore. It's gone. That was the culture to me. Guys, we're going to get into Nigeria. Your sister Juanita was asking a question. And, there are certain people who support me who, if they ask a question, even if it's off topic, I'm still going to answer because, the sister has helped me out a lot. No, I have not been to Savannah. I have not been to Savannah yet. We're speaking specifically on Atlanta. I have not been to Savannah yet. But anyway, guys, hit the like button. If you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, if you have not bought the documentary In Search of Uhuru, please go to searchforuhuru.com. Again, please go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Listen, Kyla, that could be the show, Kyla. That could be, Kyla, are we rising up tomorrow night? Somebody says because most of the people that's in Atlanta is not from Atlanta. That could be it. Atlanta's starting to feel like LA. There we go. Atlanta's starting to feel like LA. I'm talking about in Atlanta, back in the day, you could speak to everybody. Back in the day in Atlanta, you could speak to everybody. Everybody spoke. Now, you say hello to another, you see another black person, you say hello to them. You say hello to them, they look at you like you crazy. There we go. Atlanta is starting to become stuffy like LA. There we go. Atlanta's starting to become stuffy like LA because I used to live in LA. That's the best way to sum it up. So that when you think of the culture, that Southern hospitality is pretty much, that Southern hospitality is kind of what the, it's gone. It's not here anymore. So there we go. That's what I mean. Black faces, no culture. The entertainment industry and hood culture destroyed LA. I agree. I mean, destroyed Atlanta. There, because like I said, it's starting to become stuffy like LA. And the entertainment industry and the hood culture is part of that. So, guys, again, go to searchforuhuru.com. Go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary. Tours, we are still rolling to Sierra Leone in November. We are still rolling to Sierra Leone in November. Kelvin Metcalf. Kelvin Metcalf. Thank you for buying the documentary. Again, go to donfo.africa. That's DANFO.Africa. Donfo. Excuse me, donfo.Africa. If you're interested in traveling to Sierra Leone with us, November 20th through December 3rd. November 20th through December 3rd, we are rolling to Sierra Leone. November 20th through December 3rd. We would love for you to join us. Citizenship is available to those who qualify. Citizenship is available to those who qualify. Again, citizenship is available to those who qualify. So come to Sierra Leone with us. Come to Sierra Leone with us. I never said that. I never said Rwanda gives me a bad vibe. Never said that. So, guys, let's jump into today's topic. Nigeria. Is there a drug problem? A drug trafficking problem? A drug trade problem? Is there one in Nigeria? Because every day along my feed, my Instagram feed, Facebook feed, there's a new story of people being caught with keys of dope in Nigeria. I'm talking about every day the amount of dope that is going through Nigeria, that's being flown through Nigeria it's crazy. It's crazy. So Nigeria is suffering a drug epidemic. And then also too, when you see these area boys, sometimes you're in Nigeria, you come in contact with some of the area boys. You could tell they're strung out on dope. And you could tell the difference between weed. You can tell the difference between somebody's high on weed versus when somebody's high on that shit. Excuse my language. You could tell the difference when somebody's high on weed and when somebody is high on that. I don't say crack. We'll say crack. Got a lot of cocaine's being caught. People trying to smoke a lot of cocaine throughout Nigeria. Meth, like all that. You could tell the difference. And some of these area boys, the way they act, how they get kind of aggressive and the way they act, I'm like, okay, this man's not just smoking weed. It's like this man, this boy, this guy right here. This boy right here is not just smoking weed. This is not just weed. Like, you just like, this guy's just not a high on weed. This is not just weed. Here we go. This is right here. So let's watch this video right here. So this is what's going on. This is what is going on.
Against illicit drugs, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have confiscated what is described as the biggest singular cocaine seizure in the history of its anti-narcotic fight in Nigeria. The agency busted a warehouse in a secluded estate in the Ikorodu area of Lagos, where 1.8 tons of illicit drug worth more than $278 million, that's an equivalent of about 194 billion naira in street value, was seized. Ademola Lawrence reports.
This is Olokunla Crescent in Ebute, Ikorodu area of Lagos, southwest Nigeria. Unknown to residents of this area, house number 6, Olokunla Crescent, is full of cocaine. At least 4 drug barons.
I mean, they got trap houses in Nigeria and everything.
Arrested in connection with the drugs. In the well-coordinated intelligence-led operation by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLA, that lasted 2 days, the operatives arrested the suspect at different locations in Lagos with 185 kilograms of illicit drugs worth $278 million.
So we have to acknowledge the support of our foreign counterpart, that's the American Drug Enforcement Administration, commending the NDLA officers, the DEA officers, and men of the Nigerian military who had supported us in this effort. He also said it is the seizure, this huge seizure is a deadly blow to the drug cartels and a sign that they will all go down.
On whether the agency will be influenced in its decision to charge the suspect to court, the NDLA spokesperson has this to say.
The chairman of the agency, General Marwa, coordinated this operation. Every minute up till the last minute before you gathered here, he was on top of it. So you know the kind of person he is. You know his antecedents. It's not somebody that can be manipulated or swayed by anybody.
For the agency, this is a stern warning to all drug barons all over Nigeria, that the fight against illicit drugs will definitely get a boost and will get a fight to the end. Ademola Lawrence, TVC News, Lagos.
Yeah, it's becoming a problem. Somebody asked how are they getting the drugs into to Nigeria. Some say through the Sahel, so some say through Niger. And also they're trying to, in fact, there was a story where somebody was trying to ship it through well, somebody got caught at the airport. You know, where somebody got caught at the airport. They're doing it that way too, which is bold. Like you smuggling. Here we go, right here. You're smuggling dope through the airport. Like, I mean, come on now. Yeah, that's the point. That's the part I don't get. Like, I mean, if you're gonna do it, like you want to have as less points of contact with security as possible. And airports are secure. So why would you want to smuggle dope through an airport? That's just stupid. That's just stupid. Yeah, so a lot of these people are smuggling dope to the airport, which is dumb. I mean, smuggling dope, period, is stupid. But doing it through an airport is definitely done. Oh, shoot. Hey, Solo TV 84. Hey, man, listen. Solo. Bro, Solo TV. Listen, guys, I changed lives. I changed lives. Solo TV 84, I need you to send me an email. We got to get on this crypto. You know, it's a bear market, prime opportunity. You know, we got to chop it up. NFTs, Web 3.0, Web 3, you know, what projects you should invest in. You know, during this bear market, like we gotta chop it up, Solo TV 84. And thank you for the super chat. Don't sleep. Shiba Inu is gonna pump in 2 days. Come on, man. XRP is done. XRP is done. Even if they win that lawsuit, the XRP is done. Shiba Inu. Okay, you like me, Solo TV 84. You're a degenerate like me. You like shit coins like me. Okay, I see. You like shit coins just like me. But I got another friend who he swears by Shiba Inu. I mean, it has a $4 billion market cap, no utility at all. You know, this game that's supposed to come out, this card game. Like he's like, yeah, I'm gonna release a game in Shibarium and in this blockchain. I'm like, oh man, okay. He loves Shiba Inu. He is so, yeah, man, the burn rate, man. It's gonna burn. You know, the burn rate. You know, okay, all right, whatever. Okay. So Shiba Inu, okay, everybody. And this is not financial advice. Do your own research. Again, this is not financial advice. Do your own research. Hold on 1 second.
And a 32-year-old drug trafficker based in Liberia, Maduabu Chinedu, has been arrested at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport in Abuja by operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency with 9.30 kilograms of cocaine worth over 2.7 billion naira in street value. According to the statement released by NDLEA's Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi Babafemi, the suspect was arrested during an inward joint search of Ethiopian Airlines Flight 911 at the Abuja airport. Each pellet was wrapped in candies wraps and concealed in his luggage. During his preliminary interview, Chinedu claimed he left Nigeria in 2018 to settle in Liberia, where he now has a residence permit. He, however, added that economic pressure and the need to raise money to treat his mother's eye problem led him to seek help from a friend who gave him the drug to deliver in Abuja for a fee of 1 million naira.
Hey, shout out to you loggers TV. Shout out to you loggers TV. Hey, listen, Missy Barr, you're right. Thank you. No, Hush Puppy was Hush Puppy wasn't a drug dealer. Hush Puppy was a scammer, scamming people for their money. But I don't think he dealt with drugs. He was just scamming people from their money. But hey, shout out to Nigerian police and drug enforcement agencies for doing their job and stopping this dope from polluting Nigeria. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. But listen, guys, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room if you want to call in. And Missy Bada, I told Auntie Bada, I told my son the other day, like what you told your kids. If you do something illegal, I'm gonna turn you in. Like I already told my son, listen, if the police come looking for you, you've done something illegal, and it's proven that you've done something illegal, I'm gonna turn you in myself. I already told my son. I already told him. I've already prepped my son that if he does something to embarrass our name, I'm turning him in. Guys, link is in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, go ahead and call in. Also, hit the like button. Again, please hit the like button. Again, please hit the like button. But link is in the chat room. You want to call in, go ahead and call in. Again, link is in the chat room. If you want to call in, you're more than welcome to call in. Link is in the chat room. Also, do me a favor, hit the like button again, please. Hit the like button. No, I'm preparing him now. He's not a baby. He's 8. He'll be 9 in December. But I'm preparing him now. We're having these conversations now. And guys, listen, Nigeria, still a beautiful country, beautiful place, awesome country. I love my country of Nigeria. I love my country of Nigeria. It's not perfect. It has its issues, but I still love my beautiful country of Nigeria. Speaking of, listen, let me play something for you guys. Hold on. Hold on. Play this for you guys. Here we go, guys. Here we go. Hold on, Elvis. I got to play something for the people real quick. All right, I got to play something for the people real quick.
I won't begin with history. That war we fight in recent memory. Where music way come from barrel of gun was Asian one. Me, I think I get cancer for me. That's the reason why. Cause when I look, una too I see. Make I explain it, I think you go giddy. I love my country, I no go lie. Now inside am I go live and die. When it turn me so, I twist and so. It push me, I push am, I no go go. Make you no worry, both nations be friends. Even when they fight, they soon make amends. When one back they itch, the other go scratch. When one leg, the other go hatch. Eggs na eggs, but some are rotten. But make I tell you, some are golden. I tell you, my country no be one. I mean, not to yesterday I born. I love my country, I no go lie. Now inside am I go live and die. I know my country, I no go lie. Now me and me go yap till I die. One go proud, the other so meek. One go hide, the other go seek. One country go slap, the other go turn cheek. And soon they are playing hide and seek. They're lovely twins of whom I speak. Mr. Country Hide and his brother Seek. Country Hide 2.8 billion. He tell Country Seek, brother, carry on. Seek from Turkey to China Sea. The more you look, the less you see. You thief 1 couple, they put you for prison. You thief 10 million, na patriotism. Then go give you chieftaincy and national.
Okay, let's bring on Elvis. Go ahead, Elvis.
What's up, Dynast?
What's up, Elvis? What's going
I'm
on,
good.
man?
I'm good. Yeah, on the topic tonight, today, you know, I don't know about Nigeria, but I just want to come in and give you this quick information. In Liberia last weekend, they seized $100 million worth of, cocaine, packed in a big old container that was being shipped from Brazil. Liberia is one of the largest nation when it comes to shipping, uh, registration. A lot of countries register their shit through Liberia, and this has been going on for a long time. We have a population of youth in our country, what we call Zogos, who are hooked on drugs. A lot of them
Yeah,
were,
that's in Nigeria too. We call them the area boys. That's in Nigeria too.
yeah. So I think it's a epidemic of drug use that's kind of strange to Africa, that's happening in West Africa specifically, maybe in other parts of Africa. But it's really strange. I think when we were growing up in Africa, you know, 90s and early 2000s, we barely used to see people like this. But after the war, for us, a lot of people got hooked on drugs. I mean, it's a sad thing, especially in Africa. People who are already poor, using whatever what little resources they have to buy drugs. People have been robbing people, killing people, stealing, just to get drugs. So I don't know. I think I can't attribute it to anything but just because Liberia is like a pass through for the drugs. People come in, bring these big containers of drugs, and then pass it through the country and go down to like Guinea-Bissau.
Well,
And
no, actually, the from my understanding, it's coming through Guinea-Bissau. I think Guinea-Bissau is like the pass through.
yeah, and the reason that is because Guinea-Bissau. I think it's a is it Guinea-Bissau? I think it is. I think it's a Spanish-speaking country, and
Mhm.
the like people from Mexico, the Sinaloa, they'll pass that through Guinea-Bissau through Spain because they have a direct connection with Spain. And then that's how it happened because the guy that got arrested, he's a Guinea-Bissau citizen in Liberia. And I mean to think about it, $100 million worth of drugs in a little small poor country like Liberia is crazy. So that was like I think maybe the biggest drug bust in Africa that happened in our country last weekend, which is crazy. So speaking on Nigeria, I can't really speak on Nigeria because I don't know too much about what's going on, but I just want to call in and give that little nugget right there because I couldn't believe it myself when I seen it. So it's not just Nigeria; it's Liberia, parts of Sierra Leone, and I'm telling you, Don, it's in our rural part of our country. What we call the interior. There's a drug epidemic happening there too, which is crazy because people there are really really poor, and to find drugs in the villages in little towns, it's crazy to me. I can't even believe it that people go back there and sell drugs to people who are desperately poor.
Hmm.
And again, well, what happened here in the '60s, with the crack epidemic, is something like we're experiencing in Africa right now, especially in West Africa. And it's crazy to think that poor people, not that everybody in Africa is poor, but a lot of people there are very very poor. Are getting hooked on drugs. They're
Well,
not
that
selling.
that's how it was in America. I mean, it was the poor that were getting hooked on the dope.
Right. And the thing about it, they're not selling it for like $20 a rock. They're not selling it for $20 a rock. It's like I don't know what they pay for it, but you know, I don't know. It's heartbreaking. I'll let Missy Bauer come on here and see what she got to say.
All right, Missy Bar, go ahead.
Sorry, Carla, man, I miss you, bro. Been a long
I
time.
can't say the same, but I think it's been too. It's not long enough, man. With you, man, you know what I'm saying?
All right,
Yeah,
Carla.
but you're all right, Elvis. One day you'll come around and understand what's going on.
Ah,
Just kidding.
ah, greetings to everyone.
Hello.
I don't know if you can hear me.
We hear you. We hear you. Go
All
ahead.
right. Greetings to everyone. So, first of all, it goes without saying to say that thank you to the Nigerian law enforcement, right? They've always been on top of this. And as a country deals with this type of situation, I remember in the 90s, as the drug epidemic was going on in the US, that I am not aware of what was going on in the US, but I remember at some point, Nigerian police, they go hard around the Ikeja area, all over Ipaja, Maryland area. They are dealing with them because there were a lot of all the guys that were selling motor parts were also selling drugs. And the Nigerian army, they go hard on them. And many of them that were never killed, they put them in prison for like 10, 15. They took everything they got. So I don't think the drug per se is going to look like what happened in America. Never. It will never happen. The reason being, Nigeria, for the most part, is still a country that truly believe in, they have a religion and they have a family unit. And they will do
Hold
whatever.
on. We have family units. I watch black families get destroyed over drugs. You can't just say
guess
that,
what? Guess what? It is over there you have situation where it is black people themselves that are ruling themselves, right? It is not like here where it was meant to destroy. You understand what I mean?
But the whole thing is what you're saying is, like I said, my thesis is this: there's two Black Americas, right? There's Black America and there's Black America X, right? Black America X is the Black America, right? I think the 40% that's always generations of things that's falling into the traps of white supremacy. Then there's a Black America like I come from, right? Who don't have these problems, okay? And I resent people's. Okay. If that is true, that you can't make a broad thing like that because black people who never did drugs, never did any of that stuff like this.
I'm not making a statement like that. I'm talking specifically about Nigeria.
Hold on. When you said something like, "Oh, because we have this and everything like that, we survived under duress and didn't get into all that." So therefore, what I'm trying to say is this: the reason why. Let me say this: the reason why Asia doesn't have this problem, right, is this, right? China, and this was something that the black race needs to figure out, right? The biggest thing that conquered Asia was what? Opium and the opium trade, right? So why do you think in Asian countries, right, they're so hard on drugs? Because they know the reality of the history of the opium trade and all the stuff like that. That's why they have the death penalty for a thing, and they carry it out. In Africa,
Nigeria have the same thing.
Yeah, but they don't carry out the death penalty. They don't carry it out. You can have the death.
Listen, I'm a Nigerian, right? And I'm telling you, I might not be born in Nigeria, but I'm in Nigeria, and I grew up there. And I'm telling you that Nigeria has a death penalty. You understand?
But when do they carry it out? When do they carry it out? China executes 4,000 people a year to send a message.
Listen, what I'm telling you is Nigeria has it. Just because they're not carrying it out on public square doesn't mean
that means they don't have a death penalty then.
So, Kala, who are you killing? The drug victims or the drug dealers?
No, see, that's the whole thing I'm trying to say. I'm tired of, right? I'm tired of, if you're involved in drugs, you're peddling it on the street, you're trafficking it, I don't have any sympathy for you, right? If you're a courier, whatever like that. Everybody
so that is what I'm saying. That is what I'm saying. I may not be able to speak on the rest of the African country, but I'm saying in Nigeria. I'm saying in Nigeria. I remember clearly, particularly in the Ikeja area, because that area was so infested with the drugs, and they're coming in there nearly every week and they're cleaning house. Many of those people were never existed anymore. The ones that were never put to death for whatever reason, they were in prison for life. Or I'm talking about 10, 15 hardcore years. And also part of the agreement that the United States made with America at that time was, if a Nigerian was ever caught with drugs in the US, they go to prison here. Then when they hand them over to Nigerian government, they're still going to prison. And then Nigerian government go ahead and seize all their properties. I'm telling you what I knew.
Well, I know that. That's on paper. I know all about that.
Again, listen, I don't know what happened in the last few years, but part of what you just saw, part of that is seeing that the Nigerian police, particularly the Nigerian DEA or whatever they call themselves, at least drug law enforcement agency, they are doing their job and they have always been on their job. Now, what needs to happen now is for example, for those of us Nigerians, we like to ship a lot of stuff to Africa, right? Then the government needs to start checking all those ships and what goes in there. Every single corner. If you don't,
Can I get a word in here, sister?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm on a time thing. All right, like in Nigeria, and I love Nigeria, right? I have hopes for Nigeria to be a great country, but Nigeria doesn't even monitor its customs. Stuff flows in and out of Nigeria without even need taxation or customs in and out of the customs agencies and Lekki and other places.
They check it.
Right. So therefore, what I'm saying is,
just like you have everywhere.
Can I get a?
I disagree with that. I just got back from that. They check it everything.
They don't check it.
They check it everything.
They check you.
They check everything. They check it.
There's a lot of stuff go in and out, but I'm just saying. I'm just saying like this. I'm saying like this. If we as the black race, right? I really don't think us as a race, really, we on the whole, on both sides of the Atlantic, right? We think that crime, right? We committing crime, right, is a natural way of survival because we live in an oppressive world, right? That's why I really do think all black people. That's why when the Somali pirates were kidnapping people at sea and jacking ships at sea, you had a lot of black people in America talk about, that's right. They're taking back their waterways. And these guys, and the Somalis, like, we don't agree with that. But there were pirates out there, and what were they doing with the money? They were getting rich. I hijack a ship and all stuff like this. Let's put it like this: we tolerate crime, right? Because we don't basically have enough in us to believe in ourselves that we could do better. That's in Black America, that's in Africa, and it's all over the continent, it's all over the Black world. That's why we're failing, right? We tolerate this stuff.
I'm not saying what you're saying is not right, because both of them could be right. Because you can't say that all of all the people that want to be in custom, right, want to be a criminal. Some people actually go there because they thought they could make a difference, right? Now, it is now the job of every single African government to work together to make sure stuff like this from here henceforth that we don't want to have a youth coming up all being drug addicted. First of all, we don't even have any facility to take care of anybody like that, right?
Right, right. And let me
So
say this
we're
quickly,
talking
Mrs. Bar.
about genocide in that case. So that is the one thing that African government need to come to say, listen, we're going to have to nip this in the bud. That means what I already talk about is all those agencies, they need to start rotating them, not just to have a group of people working in the same area, right, for a long period of the time, but start rotating them, start monitoring them, monitoring their lifestyle, where they come from, who are their business partners,
There's a guy
they
in
do.
Kenya. Let me say this, sister. There's a guy, auditor somewhere in Kenya, right, with a $23,000 salary, right, in Kenya just recently, right.
Mhm.
He got millions of dollars of assets, houses all over the place on his salary of $23,000 a year, right? And people look the other way because we, as a black race, we believe the ends justifies the means. And I'm trying to say, while everybody preaches sanctimonious and holding out because I'm on the African continent, I'm better than you Okadas, right? I'm saying the whole entire black race is failing because we have not lived up to the standards of civilization. We think civilization, we claim we built civilization, right? But when the markers are there and the benchmarks are there, we don't want to adhere to it. The rule of law, law and order, accountability, all these things that were built civilization throughout the years, right? Continuity, passing things down and everything. And if one administration leaves office, right, the next administration should take the ball and run it. Each time you see in Africa, for the most part, Ghana has smooth transitions for several generations. I give them credit on that. Liberia just had two smooth transitions from early to where. You know what I'm saying? If Where loses an election, I don't know what's going to happen with that because people are saying, I don't know, whatever. But the
He's
whole
not
thing
going to
is
lose.
I don't know about that. See, Elvis, this is what I'm going to talk about tonight. This is what I'm going to talk about today. And Elvis wondered why I was that. People in Liberia are suffering, right? And these Negroes like him, these crime boys like him, sit in America, right? And they don't have to deal with the suffering. My boy Naya's over there right now. He's doing business. And a lot of African Americans are not.
Hold on, Elvis, are you a crime lord, Elvis?
He's a crime boy. He's a crime boy. He's a crime boy.
Are you a crime boy, Elvis? Are you
no,
a crime
crime.
It's my tribe, not a crime as in
He's a crime boy. He's a crime thug boy. He's a crime thug.
Well, let me say this.
So Elvis, you're one of Samuel Doe's people.
Yeah. That's my kinsman. Yeah, that's my kinsman.
You say he got Samuel Doe. He's sitting over in the comfort of America, right? Talking about, Ware. And I like George Ware, but the guy needs to be in the Soccer Hall of Fame of the first Black Republic. He has no business being there. No,
Carla, you're not understanding what I'm saying. I'm not saying George Ware is going to win because. Hold on. I'm not saying he's going to win because he's the most qualified. You have to understand he's a massive celebrity. People love him way before he even started, get into politics. Hold on, Carla. I'm trying to explain something to you.
Why I don't believe in democracy. I don't believe in democracy for Black people. I don't believe in democracy.
We know you're a dictator at heart. We know that. We know that. We know you're a dictator at heart.
But never loving dictator.
But let me get to the point, right? So the reality is, we talk about this in our community all the time. Smart people who are just on the fringe. We looked at the situation and we said that it's pretty much a foregone conclusion that he's going to win re-election. Why? Number one, he's massively popular in the country. Even though he's doing terrible as a president, but he's so very much popular. And then secondly, the opposition, they're not doing too well. They have this whole schism between them. They're fighting amongst each other. People are coming in, try to, give us this savior mentality that they're the clean person. They've never been corrupted, but then they're still tying themselves up with the same corrupt people that was in the past government. So a lot of people are not looking at him as the best alternative. So we are most likely going to win re-election just by, by default, in a way. That's why I say that. I'm not saying he's the best president, in the country.
About this drug situation, I heard about this drug situation, right? And like I said, I know Liberians are good, decent people. I'm not saying about other Africans. I know Liberians are good, decent people. But like anybody else, they can be tempted and everything like that. There's a certain innocence about people in Africa, that I don't see in America. Africans still have some sort of innocence with them, as it takes a lot to corrupt them, So you ask yourself this question: what would make somebody do this, right?
I
Tarnish the
disagree
image
with
of.
that. It takes a lot to corrupt African. We're human beings. We're
I
easily
said no,
corruptible as
I
human
know,
beings
but I know I'm
all over
talking
the
about
world.
not on the level of this, not on the level of this. We never had any real major trafficking problem. The problem is this, and I said this, right? There's drug cartels, right, who are trying to get into Europe, right, and they basically understand that you have West Africa is broken, fractured, and vulnerable, and all it takes is one or two corrupt people to look the other way, and that's all it takes. This is one bus worth $100 million. It's not like there's drugs flowing all over the coast of West Africa, right? They find the weaknesses and exploit the breaches and get the drugs in there. Somebody might get a
So
payoff,
that's
whatever.
why those guys that were arrested, they it is the job of now the law enforcement to find out all their links. They may not be able to arrest them all now, but to make example out of them, to make example that there is no way that they're getting out alive, number one. Number two, all their properties, all their family, they need to round them up. That's what Nigerians used to do before. If you commit a crime like that in Nigeria before, they used to round up your entire family. Would they need to make sure nobody is left without being rounding up? All their accounts needs to be closed down, period. They need to do what they used to do before. Because now you have a situation where you have Chinese in Nigeria, everybody is running loose. That thing, I still think, all the way to anybody foreign in Nigeria should not be allowed to bring a pin into that country without us knowing where is this pin coming from? Where is it going to? Why are you here? Who are you living with? How long have you been here? Any Nigerian military needs to be able to walk into any foreign homes or any Nigerians that they feel like they're doing something suspicious. We need to go back to that. I'm talking about you strip them down the entire homes, but the problem we have in Nigeria as of that now is all your justices, right? Right? We need to make sure that any appearances of corruption among any of these justices, you lump them up, you put them in the same situation like these drug dealers. The moment you start doing that, Nigerians will go back to being sitting right. You understand?
Let me ask you a question, sister. Let me ask you a question, right? Now, here's a problem. Here's a problem, right? I look on social media, Nigerian. I've been following Nigerian for over a decade now and everything. If you have a situation where you got people sitting outside the country, right? And all they do is basically badmouth their government and badmouth this. And the difference between Asia and Africa is the Asian governments establish credibility with the local, with the masses, right? Your basic needs are met. You got transportation. The government functions fine, everything. They may have political disagreements about this, that, and the other thing. But fundamentally, I've never seen, only in the black race, where you have somebody, right? If your guy does not win the office, right, they spend the next few years in exile. Blah, 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 blah,
That's
blah,
what
blah,
happened
blah,
in
blah.
Nigeria, yes. That's
It's a meltdown. So therefore, if that government doesn't have the credibility to carry out the death penalty and everything, because it's weakened.
Guess what? No. The government still have the right, because it's not the government in power do that. It is the law enforcement that did that. They will do what they have to do. But the reason why what you're saying is very important, right? That is why I say what you're saying, both what you're saying, what I'm saying could be right at the same time, right? Guess what? When Buhari came to power, one of the things that Buhari did right away is to say anybody that hide money anywhere, right, that they're going to be arresting them. They want all those money that is hid by all the politicians, right? To the extent that they started finding out that the politicians were putting money, under their services. So let's say you are a Nigerian governor, right? And I'm working for you like a service. Maybe I'm cleaning your house. How is it that I'm just a house cleaner and I have $500 to $3 million in my name and I'm never aware of it? So they were opening accounts. Jonathan's wife did that. Former Jonathan Goodluck, his wife did that. Now, what should have happened naturally is she should have been arrested. because she has all her employees, she has money in their names that they didn't even know. So when the law enforcement, just like right now, when the law enforcement starts checking the background of all of them and say, how is it that you live in poor, but you're actually a millionaire? But the millionaire doesn't know that she got money. So when they started interviewing those people, they did not know. This is the level of corruption, right? So when Buhari came, he says, anybody that found money, that knows where any money is hidden, we need to know. Do you know who will go against him? It's all these politicians. They started finding money in apartments. They started finding money that was never claimed. They were finding me. I'm talking about in billions in a shop that is locked in. Let this man do his job. That is when you started finding the story of that Buhari has been dead, right? That it was his counterpart or somebody from Shad that came to run
Jibril.
the country. He started telling these stories.
from Sudan. Jabril from
Listen,
Sudan.
we don't look. There is a lady. I don't like to call her a lady because she has no respect. She will call Buhari by Buhari, but she was calling Trump, President Trump. But she will call Buhari a Nigerian president when we don't have respect for our own government. Let the man do what he's supposed to do. It was Nigerians that handicapped Buhari to really go for what he wanted to. Let the man do it. Now we say, oh my God, he didn't do anything for Nigeria. You handicap him. You say he's too old. In America, and America is here to, I think, who is the youngest
Wait,
president?
are you saying that Buhari is a good president for Nigeria?
Honestly, hold on. Let me say this. I don't know because I hear on one hand by people who.
No, I'm asking Missy Barra because she seemed like a Buhari supporter.
I'm not a Buhari supporter, but I'm a Nigerian. I am a Nigerian that want the best for my country. I'm a Nigerian that realize that my Nigerian, for the most part, are brilliant. That all we need is for all the groups to work together as one to make sure that we root out corruption. Don't say because my guy didn't get there, so therefore I'm going to go ahead and destroy the country. Don't say that wherever you see a Nigerian, we need to start saying we're all Nigerians, that the betterment of Nigeria and that of our African race is our number one priority. Make Nigeria great wherever in Nigeria is. Be the best Nigerian that you can be. Be the best black man and black woman that you can be. Represent your race properly, right? Now, Buhari is one man. The Nigeria has more than 200 million people. And I don't even know how many of us outside of the country. Wherever we are with this tongue of ours, call oneness, call goodness to your country. Praise your country. Find the best part. Start rooting out criminality among us.
I see Nigerians, and they're always basically, they brag about something, but they tear down their country at every turn.
Okay, Nigeria.
They tear down their country at every turn.
Do you see why you're saying? Really, do you see Nigerians saying, God bless Nigeria? But they will say, God bless America, which is all right. Before they said, they will say, God bless Nigeria. When you can't speak goodness to your own country, they complain about what is wrong, but while at the same time, they're committing crime. Okay, let me tell you, for example, I went to Nigerian passport office in New York to get a passport when my father died, right? Right in my presence, the guys that were at the door were collecting extra money from the people that come in, right? When I look at my passport, because of the way my father raised me and my mother raised me, they will rather delay whatever they got to do than pay you extra. They know what the amount is and they're paying it. So they asked me to go and buy a money order, right? I've got the money order. They said, get the money order for $150 and get another one for $50. I thought they said, get the money order for $150 and 50 cents. So that's what I did. When I came back, I got the money order for $150 because that's what I thought I heard, right? So when I came back, the guy looked at it and says, what is this? I said, I thought that's what you want. Oh, so now I've been fighting with them all day long, right? I told them I'm going to call 911, call police, whatever it is I'm going to do. That because they're not going to give me the visa.
You can't do that. You can't call the police in Nigeria.
Oh, I know that. I'm just going off. So when I did, they look at it and they say, I'm supposed to give them additional $50, right? But afterwards, I told the guy, I said, do you want me to go and get that $50? But you remember what I've been doing at the downstairs all day long. So he said no. So that's how I get my passport. And when I look at the passport, it says they charged me only $150. Had it been that I bought the money order for $50, where is that going to? I'm asking. So if I pay $50, this one pay $50, this one pay $50, where is that going to? It is this type of corruption that each individual Nigerian will say, I'm not going to be a part of, right? Even though I barely make my flight, but I did, right? If all of us, and I remember I had a very good friend of ours, he passed away now. He was willing to give them $10,000 for him to get his passport so that he can go to Nigeria. So when you have somebody that's willing to give 10,000 and people that's willing to give 40, 25, we are also adding to that type of corruption. Because
Kala, let me ask you a question before the other guys get on here. And
they will pass the
I have something to say, but I'll just wait for everyone else.
Yeah, we'll pass to you. We'll get to you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so Dynasty and Kala, right? You know, we had the crack epidemic here in the United States, you know, and it destroyed a lot of the black.
Bro, I think that lie and stuff was exaggerated. To tell you the truth.
No, hold on now. So in my little observation, it really did a number in the black families, right? I mean, we don't have the same, I guess, I don't know, but I guess they don't have the same problem right now with crack in America, especially in the black community, like they did in the 80s.
So like I said, bro,
what did they do to fix it? Well, what did the United States government do to fix that situation?
The government didn't fix nothing, right? But that's another thing. The government never does shit for black people, right? Like I said, there's a certain black people, right? And there's another side of black people. There's most black people that weren't affected by crack, none of that stuff like this. There's a Black America X, right, that sits there and they're gonna be fucked up no matter what you throw at them. You could it had nothing to do with income, it had nothing to do. There's black people in America. It's a culture that's bred out of slavery that is dysfunction, right? That Black America is a Black America that's always gonna fuck up. They're always gonna be on drugs. They're always gonna be shooting.
You can say the same thing about white people who are on opiates.
What I'm saying is this all. Oh, then there's a Black America that functions, right? You got to distinguish the two, right? Everybody, when people say black people in America, there's 40, 50 million people in this country, you know? All diverse, all like that. There's certain black people, a certain segment, a certain culture of Black America that's generation after generation of failure, right? It is black people that come from generation after generation of pulling themselves together, knowing how to do like that. Those people tend to be conservative. They tend to be black nationalists. They're Pan-Africanists. They're all diverse too. The other side just basically don't have any history. Then you go to their house. They have no black books in their house. They don't know anything about Africa. They don't know anything about their history. They're not connected to anything. All they're connected to is ratchetness. That's what you see. All ratchetness, foolishness, and nonsense and everything. And these are the people that always you see out there doing all the negativity and nonsense and everything. That's what they do. And then there's other black people that basically we could talk to and say, this is the black nation. This is the black people that, okay, we got together. I could say, okay, bro, let me give you a perfect example, right? What it means to be black in America, right? When I got back from Liberia, right? A year and a half ago, I got back from Liberia, right? I went to this place called 21, this restaurant, nice restaurant in Virginia Beach called 21 Street Seafood, right? Nice bar and everything, good food, right? So I went in there, right? And this is the early spring. I went in there and I came out, had a good time, right? Because I went in there like I didn't know what the crowd is, right? Because this is right after the whole riots and everything like that. I don't know the mood of Virginia Beach now, right? So I come out of there, right? And a brother sitting in his car. And he said, yo, bro, man, I'm waiting out here. He goes, I'm waiting to see one of us come outside. Are we good in there? Yeah, man, go in there. Oh, man, he goes, that's all I need to hear. Now, let me tell you something. Only the African American understand that conversation and what happened. Are we good in there? So in other words, basically, we go like this. Are we good? You stay outside of a bar. Oh, yo, we cool in there, right? What does we cool in there mean? Are we black people cool in there? Black people, other black people may not understand that, There's that cultural cohesion, that network, that wink and nod that we black people in America, that real black America, we do each other, that when we look out for each other, around the country, The fake black people and whatnot, you know, the Black America expert, they don't give a fuck. But black people like this, are we good in there? You know, are people welcome there?
Who's the fake black people? The ratchets, the drug dealers, the pookies, and them. Those are fake black people.
It's not that. There's also black people who like that lady on MSNBC who says black men ought to get out there, forget Kevin Samuels and whoever you listen to, and get out there and support Stacey Abrams. Black America X is real, you know. The black female mammy they're putting in front of us, right? The Lizzos and all these other people, all this negativity and whatnot. White America props up Black America X. You know, Black America X is all the fuckery and all the shit like this that's monetized, right?
But it's not unique. It's not unique to black people, Carla. White people have their degeneracy too within their communities.
Their degenerates aren't given multi-million-dollar contracts. Their degenerates aren't given movie deals to represent them. You understand the difference?
Will Smith is a degenerate.
No, I'm not saying
Denzel Washington is a degenerate.
Dynast, did I mention Will Smith? I think Will Smith is.
No, well, you're talking about you're categorizing the movie stars as being degenerate.
Let's pass the mic. Keep it simple. Then we'll pass the hands on River. Go ahead. Keep it simple.
Hi, Dynast. How you guys? How you doing?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah. So I feel like my own opinion. I feel like what the drug problem happening in Nigeria currently has been long. It didn't just start today, really. But it's as if they're trying to do this, replicate the same thing they did in America, in West Africa. So basically, most Nigerians don't do drugs, and that's a fact. But because it's expensive to acquire, and it's not that common on the street. What you see area boys do is like they do mostly glue and just minor drugs that you can locally source. But this crack thing. Okay. Look at the story where the story that came up. Was it last week that a large consignment of drugs was seized in Lagos? There were 4 Nigerians and a Jamaican, right? And information was given to the information to seize the container was given to them by the U.S. security agency. So my question is, why didn't the U.S. security agency seize it before it got to Nigeria?
Exactly.
So, and this drug thing, we all know about how the drug thing started, how drugs were pumped into the Black American community in the U.S. with the heavy involvement backed by the government by CIA agents collaborating with some of our Black American brothers.
Keep it simple. Let me say this, right? Yeah. I know that the drugs they needed to monetize these Central American countries borrowed a lot of money from the United States to pay it back. They had to sell cocaine and everything like that. I understand all that story, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, right, I'm not gonna sit here and say that these things, because I know. Look, I know people who you back in the days, right, knew right from wrong, right? Got people hooked on heroin, got people hooked on crack and whatnot. Black people got their family members hooked on crack and everything like that because they wanted to get paid. They didn't give a shit. So they didn't come up nowadays and whatnot after they did all their nonsense. They sung about it, they rapped about it, they bragged about it. Now they want to sit here and have sympathy and have a sympathy cup of tea with Kyle Jensen. Talk about, oh yeah, CIA. No, we have enemies, traitors, race traitors, and whatnot in our community.
I'm not the same.
I'm not going to give them no rest. And so the bottom line is, I don't blame the CIA, but I blame the Black people. Now it's one thing to talk about do the drugs, right? But we made an industry celebrating it. We had a culture celebrating drugs. Everything like that, that's not.
I totally agree to a certain extent, but you have to also take into cognizance that is a huge role in the class of people that take drugs, especially in the Black community. When you have nothing to, you have no access to certain resources. You could be driven. I'm not saying Yeah, people have personal responsibilities, right? I agree. But sometimes desperation. Desperation can,
Here's where I fundamentally respectfully disagree, right?
I'm
Let me
not saying what I'm trying to
keep
say.
keep it
No,
simple.
Kyler, you got to let the man finish. I think he was
I
getting to a
know. No,
great point.
when he
Let him
said
finish his point.
desperation, I want to talk about that so-called desperation in a minute. You know,
Okay,
okay.
Carla, can you say
I'd
one thing
like
that
to
you're
say
not addicted
something,
to?
if
Are you
possible.
free of any addiction yourself?
What?
Are you free of any addiction
Yeah,
yourself?
I don't. I'm addicted to
What
social
are you
media.
addicted to?
Probably addicted to that black food, you know,
Shut up, man.
sex,
You know,
alcohol,
look,
something. I mean, we're all
If
I'm
addicted.
you
We're all
addicted to
understand the
addicted to
social media.
something.
neuropathy of
Yeah, look, I can't
understand
put
the
down.
neuropathy of a human being,
I'm
you know
doing a
that people.
certification right now, and I basically I felt to call in, need to call in. I'm addicted to social media. You know, I can't stay off TikTok. I can't stay off Instagram and all this other stuff like that. That's the only addiction I got. If someone
That's
took my
addiction.
my smartphone away from me and whatnot, they would do me a favor. You know that's the only addiction I have.
Um, I like
But
to.
the point I'm trying to make is this: I'm not excusing anybody's behavior or decisions to take drugs or not to take drugs. But what I'm saying is, like, I would like to take Rwanda as an example, or let's use Rwanda as an example. I'm not saying I support what's his name now, the president of Rwanda. What's his name now?
Kagame.
Kagame. Paul Kagame. I'm not saying I support his policies, especially as relates to what's happening in Congo. I'm just saying that he's able to put in a very solid modus operandi for how he wants to run Rwanda. And I see a lot of discipline. I've been to Rwanda just once many years ago, and I've seen a lot of what he's done in Rwanda. And I feel that him implementing certain things like banning certain programs, LGBT from TV screens, ratchetness and all those things from the media has kept his people to behave in, and all these things can be done in Nigeria. It's just that at the end of the day, Nigeria we're more than 220, 30 million. Nigeria is a very complex country to run. There are thousands of tribes in Nigeria, tribal nations in Nigeria with different values, different cultures, different tradition. If you want, Buhari was never the answer. I never supported.
Thank you.
Has always, and if I want you to guys go and follow this guy, what's his name now? Read. He has a YouTube. This brother has a YouTube channel, West Africa Weekly. The Boko Haram origin story. He speaks about how Buhari was actually connected with the operators of Boko Haram. Go watch that, brothers. West Africa Weekly.
So how does he get
Wait,
that?
hold on. Let me
I'd like
let
to
me read
say
this. Let me
something.
read
I'd
this.
like to say something, please.
No, let me read the super chat. I'll pass it to you, Hans. In Africa, drugs for homeless people. In America, drugs for everyone. That's the difference. All right, Hans, go ahead.
The drug problem in Nigeria, Moses. I'd like to greet Missy Barra. I actually enjoy listening to you. I never call in, and this is my first time calling in. And I had to call in because of the Buhari statement. But I would first start with the drug issue. I've been living in Canada since 2006, and I go home every other year. I'm from Warri, so I'm not from one of those big cities like Lagos or Abuja. I'm from Warri, and Warri is known as more of like an epicenter of what the street Nigerian really is. If you go to Warri, the lingua franca is totally pidgin. The people are more crass than they would be in Lagos. So this is where I was born. This is what I know. Drugs has always existed, but not at the rate at which it's going now. My brother arrived in Canada 2 years ago, and the reason why my dad had to push him to Canada was because he was taking tramadol. He was smoking weed and taking tramadol. And since he's been here for the past 2 years, he's never touched it. It's so much in their face now because of how bad our government is. It's so much in their face. There are a bunch of kids that go school, they can't even go to school, they're on strike. You finish school, there's work, there is nothing to do. So what you do?
Yeah,
You
it was hopeless. Why are we? Let me ask you a question, brother. And this,
Well,
this is the
Kyle,
man.
let him finish. Kyle, let him finish. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Schools, there is nothing to go. No, there's nothing to write home about. Like you finish school, you try to get a job, there is nothing to write home about. But in 2015, when Buhari was coming in, I was chief among those who supported his candidacy. He was the entire country supporting his candidacy, except some little hamlets. Like I would let me just say Southeastern. Let me just say the Southeastern alone. Everyone else supported him. But he disappointed us to the maximum. Like I have never seen any person more incompetent, more of a liar, more of a he's so nepotistic. He filled the entire
been like that. It's just that people fail to do their
and you are
research.
right, because my father was telling me in 2015 when I was supporting Buhari that don't worry, in 4 years' time you will cry. And in 2018, 2019, when he was telling me, are you still going to support him? I said yes, but I find that I was so stupid for the past 8 years. I was very, very stupid. He never did anything in 1984. I just wasn't born.
What was the reason you supported him originally? What attracted you to Buhari?
And we have an issue because we somehow make excuses for these very bad leaders. Take a look at Let me finish. We're making excuses for these very bad leaders. In 2015, when I came to, before Buhari came in, dollar was about 200 and something. It was about 200 and something to buy dollar. I know I don't have the problem of everyday Nigerian. My parents have enough money to send me and my siblings outside the country. So my problems is not the same as the people on the street, but I still feel it somehow. I feel the effect of Buhari's policies. Every time he goes after these same people that you call corrupt and he arrests them, where are they? What jail sentence do they serve?
Okay, so can I then say something, right? Do you remember when Buhari, when they were going after the, not Buhari, but the law enforcement themselves, because it is this same law enforcement now that they are going after all these drug dealers. If you recall, and I don't know, you may be able to search it up, right? When Buhari went, not Buhari, I should not even mention his name because he's not the only person that's running the government. Whenever you have a bad leader, it is the people, because that is the people's choice. When people's behavior are good and just and right, we will choose a good leader, right? But because our own behavior, right, is not up to par, we constantly choose the bad leader. Buhari is us. No, listen, because we're gonna have to take
No. Let me see Barra speak.
Let her finish. Let her finish. Please let her finish. Let her finish. Let her finish, brother. Please let the sister finish. Everybody should be able to finish.
Take a look at this. All Nigerians, and I kept saying it, we're gonna have to do it. If we don't do it, this is going to be the end of us. All Nigerians, we have to renounce corruption in every individual in our daily lives, which means if you go and get your driver license, you wait in line until your turn. You're not trying to bribe the person just so you can get by. If you go and buy something at the supermarket, don't pay them extra because you don't want to start in line. It's going to start with us. We are the corrupted that corrupt your leaders. Our leaders are doing what we wish to do, right? Until you accept your part in everyday life corruption, that when you want to travel out of the country and they're telling you that certain things you can't take out of the country and you bribe them just to do it, right? Think about all the little ways that we are corrupting all these people. And then when their mouth gets so wide, their belly gets so big that they can't put a lid on it anymore. Until we as individual citizens, if you want a better government, the citizens themselves need to be better people so that we can make better judgment. Buhari is one man. It's 1 out of 200. You put all the decision of 200 and something million people on one individual. How about your Senate?
He promised us that, though.
Right?
But that was his promise. His promise was that we should put our hope on that
let
man.
her finish.
Wait, let me
Let her
finish.
finish. No, she hasn't finished. Please let her finish and then you go.
What do we talk about in our own individual relationship, man and woman? If the man comes in and says, listen, I'm going to be a better husband to you, just work with me. And the woman say, hell to the no, I want to drive Lamborghini. I want to have that 2 carats. What happened to that type of woman? If the man is just making $40,000 and say, let's work together as a unit, right? Let's build a home together. We're going to have to start with our home and take that outside to the country where we start choosing better people into better position.
Auntie Barra, please, let me ask just one question.
Go ahead.
Who chooses the cabinet? Who chooses every single person that is with him in government?
But are you not the one that's voting for them?
Oh, good. I agree.
Why are we
That's why it's a lot. That's why things are a lot different now. That's why things are a lot different now. That's why we don't want to listen to these old fools that have lied to us for so long.
You guys blame Tinubu as well? He gave him that
I hate
extra
Tinubu
support.
with a passion. I hate him with a passion. And I supported this man. I supported this man for so long, only for him to lead us down a pipeline.
It's not going to do anything for us.
Right? Okay, please. We don't want Tinubu. We don't want Buhari. We don't want any of these old fools that have lied to us for years. We don't want them. We don't want anyone to try to reason that they are good. They are evil.
Wait, Auntie, I want to ask you a question. Wait, Auntie, I want to ask a question. Wait, Auntie, I want to ask a quick question.
Yeah, I beg, ask me.
One mic, guys. Before we continue, we're gonna take a quick 45-second commercial break. We want to acknowledge our sister Alexis Fowler. Guys, listen, if you ever come on one of my tours, if you have a product or service that you want to share, a business that you want to market, just let me know. And so we're going to take a quick commercial break, 45 seconds, then we'll jump right back into it. Hold on one second.
Hey, you guys, it is your girl Alexis Fowler coming to you with a special sale of 40% off all of my services when you use promo code VIP40 at alexisfowler.com. As a brand designer and consultant, I provide services like digital art, logo designs, packaging designs, web designs, social media flyers, and much more. If you're an entrepreneur with a business or a startup company and you need help with branding and graphic design, make sure you take advantage of this opportunity with 40% off using promo code VIP40 to get 40% off on all my services at alexisfowler.com.
All right, shout out to Sister Alexis Fowler. So if you guys have any, if you're a startup business, if you need any, marketing materials done, please reach out to that sister. All right, go ahead, Hans. We'll pass the gas.
I wanted to ask him a question before he goes.
Yes, go on.
But shout out to my Nigerian sister Alexis. Hans, your last name, and I hate to be the guy to ask that because I'm always one CIA questions, but I'm assuming. Okay, I'm assuming that you're from the south part of Nigeria.
Yes, I'm from Warri. Like I said earlier, I grew up in Warri. I'm born in Warri.
Okay, so you be Wapi guy. You can't say you dey support Buhari.
100%. Yes,
you be Wapi man and you dey support Buhari.
Yes, I did because I support Tinubu actually.
You support
Buhari.
Tinubu?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Okay, I understand. See, wait till me. I gonna say this one. Wait. I won't allow you to talk. Wait, now, I just want to say this one thing to you as an Isoko man. See, until we open our eye, all this one where we do Nigerian, maybe we know they deceive ourselves. All those people when they up, no sabi us, they don't like us at all. And you be Delta person, maybe we open our eye. We South, maybe we open our eye. Maybe we know stop the deceive.
What does that have to do with anything?
That's all I want to tell you. That's all I want to tell you. That's all me I want to tell you.
Okay, me, I'm a Nigerian, right?
Gas them up with his fake Nigerian accent.
That's the problem we have.
I'll be 100% Nigerian. I do not align myself with sectarian. Anything sectarianism is not my business, right? What concerns me is the Nigerian project. If the Nigerian project fail and is split into multiple countries, okay, it failed, but we must try first before we say it failed. And trying means changing our leaders. If you decide that you don't want to do anything about it, and you decide that you just want to support your own person, and anyways, Atiku is not even our own person. So asking me in 2015 to support Atiku or to support the thief called Jonathan, I hate Tinubu, but I hate Jonathan
all the
even
money
more.
out of the country.
I hate
Tinubu,
Tinubu, but I hate Jonathan even
you
more.
Following your tribe, but you have your tribe when they get in power, they loot all the
They
wealth
loot everything. That's what they do. That's what they do. They all loot. So it doesn't concern me if I'm an Isoko boy. It doesn't concern me if I'm from South. It doesn't concern me if I'm from Delta. I want what is best for Nigeria as a whole. If it meant that at 2015, I looked at Lagos and I foolishly thought, oh, if Nigeria is like Lagos, maybe we'll be better off. And I supported Tinubu. It doesn't mean that I hate Jonathan with a passion. He's a thief.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something.
You are from the Niger Delta. What did he do for you? What did Jonathan do for you?
What about Governor Fashola? He's the one who built modern Lagos.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Why you guys omit that?
I think that's also a fallacy. I think that's also a fallacy.
Kidding me? Are you kidding
yes.
me?
Yes. Fashola was good. Don't get me wrong. Fashola is good. Fashola is good. Fashola was good. Fashola was good. And he did the best that he could do based on the resources he had. But I personally would not attribute the growth of Lagos to either Tinubu, Fashola, Ambode, or any other person. I would actually attribute it to the fact that Lagos used to be our capital for almost 80 years. Even while the colonialists were there, Lagos was our capital.
I watched how Lagos used to have these open things where people couldn't even drive because people were
Lagos in the 60s is better than Lagos today. Lagos in the 60s is better than Lagos today. Look at pictures of Lagos in the 60s.
Modern transport system and logistics and everything, and the fact that you got a purple line and blue line transmit now, going to the marina.
Those are papering over the tracks. Those are papering over the cracks. Those are showing us nice stuff without actually solving the fundamental problem.
You see the problem we have? We as a people, our mouth is too big, we're too greedy. Nigeria, whether you like it or not, Nigeria has already get its independence in less than 70 years, right? We just celebrate an independence, right? You're gonna be comparing Nigeria to the US. Now, the US is going down, right?
I just want rule of law, not compared to the US. Just rule of law. It's simple.
All of us as a people, you're gonna have to bring that country up to the level that you want. If you harbor corruption and you don't like corruption, that to fix Nigeria, to remove the corruption in Nigeria, starts with you as a single citizen. You point it to one man, and that one man has to hire all of you to work with him. But you're not willing to work with him because you hate Buhari with a passion. So your hatred, right? But guess what? There is something. I think Yoruba say, "Owo to ba na say yokan." The other 9 fingers goes to you, right? Because when you hate the one that looks like you, that hatred you share in it, right? So when you get to fix what's the problem, you're a young man. All of you young Nigerians that are outside, come together. What can you? Who among you? What can you do for Nigeria?
That's what we are doing right now, supporting Peter Obi. We don't want old men anymore.
But nobody wants to be a laborer. You all wants to be president, but nobody wants to be a laborer. Every Nigerian citizen wants to be a president. They think they know what is good for the country. They hate the old people, but they are young. When they are young now, they are doing drugs.
Dennis, I want to address that when she's done.
I'm not saying all Nigerians are doing drugs.
Addresses drugs. Before you get, I want to answer, keep it simple. Stay talked about despair and drugs.
I agree. Despair is involved.
No, I don't. Know why? Because let me tell you something. What drugs did. Black people got a little bit of money in the 70s, 80s. Black America did a huge transition from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and everything like that, right? You had whole communities where black people had money in their pockets and everything like that, right? And so therefore, to take it to the next level, right? White people took it to the next level. They got investment banks, trust funds, all stuff like that, right? So you got all these working class people say, look, I'm tired of being working class, right? What did they get into? There was money. People were making lots of money selling drugs to other black people, right? And it was a party culture. You go to California, Compton. I'm not dissing Compton like that. It's a party central. Everything is about the party, club, hanging out, and everything like that. Same thing with a lot of black communities, right? Party, drugs, everything. Why? Because they had the means. You can't sell drugs to poor people who are trying to survive. You know, that's a myth. Oh, poor people got hit because they despair. No, people wanted to get high. They wanted to get party because they had money. So it was black people were victims of their own success. You know, there was black people making money and everything. People just stand outside the shipyards selling people crack. You know, that's where the money was at. They were going for black people money. The black middle class is the one who did the drugs. It wasn't the black.
I think you're just describing the criminal element in our society. Regardless of where you are, there will always be those people that are willing to take advantage of others.
Don't put it all on the poor, like the poor. There's a lot of poor people.
No, I don't think the drug is the poor problem. I actually think the poor don't do drugs. It's actually the kids of the rich that do drugs.
Hold on. Can I want to address
Black America. It was a black with money who's doing the drugs. You know?
I want to address the topic of the video of the broadcast. Very quickly, I have 3 points. But before I do that, I just want to say someone said something about degenerates. Yes, Will Smith. Any black Hollywood, Nollywood that wants to be Hollywood, you're a degenerate. Because all of them will wear a dress, all of them will sit down there and sell their people out. So you're all degenerates. I don't make any excuses. Oh, what about LeBron and his jump shot? Screw him too. They're all degenerates. I'm tired of us kissing butt to these people that don't give a damn about you. That's gas them up's opinion.
He said not me.
No, I don't care. Screw them. I'm tired of these, with these people that they don't care about you, and then everybody, because they're the first black. I'm tired of this nonsense, man. Forget celebrities. Like let's honor the local doctor in our neighborhood, the local lawyer. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Everybody's bigging up you. I'm an educator. When it's time for the math conference, I tried to throw a math competition, no one showed up. None. Grandma, nobody showed up. But if it's Lil Jamal playing Joe with his jump shot and Taquel can shoot, everybody in there. I'm tired of that nonsense. But that's a whole nother thing. When it comes to Nigeria, we have to look at this. We have to look at the macro. We have to look at the micro. Then we have to look at the nuance. In terms of the macro, it is a fact. The major drug cartels in the around 2006 or 7, you guys can Google this, research it yourself. Many of the drug cartels started moving in drugs through West Africa to get to Europe because there was a lot more border presence in the United States. It became a lot more difficult to bring the drugs into the United States. So a lot of the South American cartels, in conjunction with the Nigerian and other African mafias and the armed forces in West Africa, particularly the West African coast. Now, the West African coast, in terms of piracy, if I'm not mistaken, from the last time I checked, is probably the most, in terms of danger, it's the most dangerous and difficult water to navigate. That, and I believe the Somalians, they're neck and neck. But that Bight of Biafra area around Nigeria where the Delta is, very, very dangerous when you look at how much the shipping companies have to insure the cargo to get there. It's very, very risky. There's a lot of pirate activity. And so, like I said, this started to happen where the drug cartels started to move the drugs in through West Africa to get to Europe. So that's the macro part that we're not looking at. And, when there's money, people going to turn the other way. That's just what it is. Now, the micro is, we're not looking at the social breakdown of what's happening in that so-called country called Nigeria. The social breakdown is that ever since the IMF structural adjustment programs, which force people to do, as Milton Friedman calls it, move or vote with their feet, right? And people started leaving in mass in Nigeria. This is the 80s. You start to see a breakdown in society. Now, I'll say this quick disclaimer. Drugs have always existed, right? Freud took drugs. They've put, I believe, drops of cocaine in cough drops for children. It all depends on the government and the larger society at hand. In Native American cultures, they took peyote and other things. Mike Tyson is on, again, he's Joe Rogan White Boys. They're talking about smoking the toad. right? And they're seeing things. So it all depends on the government that's in power at the time and your social economic status. So now let me talk about that quickly in reference to Nigeria. If you go to the elite parts of Nigeria, let's just use Lagos. You go to your Lekki, your Abuja, your Ikoyi, you're going to see those rich people taking Western designer drugs. That's a fact. They're going to be taking their coke. Some are taking Molly, because in those places, typically, they all want to copy the West. Every African wants to copy the West, but they have the resources to properly copy the West. So they're the ones who are going to be taking those type of drugs. Now, but wait, let me finish. I'm almost done. I just got 2 more points. Now, for those of us who don't go to those parts of Nigeria, those of us who, when we come down to Nigeria, we go into the ghetto, and you go to your Mushin, your Lagos Island, your Ajegule. Those boys are not able, as the gentleman said earlier, to really afford the type of designer drugs from the West. Cocaine is expensive. So a lot of times they're taking glue. I can tell you on at least 2 occasions in Abu Legba there, when I entered a bike with a young Hausa Okada guy, I was sure that this guy was sniffing glue. He was high as he was driving me. I said, oh boy, I beg, stop, no worry, I'll walk out. Which I said I was going to walk so he doesn't go and crash and kill me. So this is happening. Why? Because many of these young guys, I know Colin doesn't like the despair part, but there's nothing for them, Colin. You come, I take you down to these parts. When you go to Nigeria, tell them not to take you to Lekki and Ikoyi. Tell them to take you to some of the ghettos. Why? So you can see what these guys have to face. There's no jobs for them. The school system sucks, right? It's not as bad as it used to be, but schools used to fight schools, right? This school would have beef with this school. They'd be, this school will fight this place. In Ajogule recently, there was a big shootout that happened. Those in Lagos who know. You understand what I'm saying? So a lot of those guys in the cities, they're taking drugs. They're reckless living. That's how they're able to be area boys. You see them, they got stab wounds. They just live a reckless life. And so those are the ones sniffing glue, doing all kind of reckless activities. So now the question is, the local government and the state governments have failed to provide anything for these kids to actually look up to, for them to be doing. There's no, school. In Nigeria, you'll see a young man who's 14 pushing a wheelbarrow. He's not in school. He doesn't have any access to school. No one's going to pay his school fees. So this is the problem of our society. So I think, like Auntie is saying, we Africans, because I would tell you, I'm not a Nigerian. That's just me. But we Africans have to now ask ourselves this. What are we willing to do to make our localities better? Are we going to continue to sit there and say, the government, look, like I said, screw the celebrities, screw the politicians. Let's be men, let's be women again. I've been screaming since last year. Dynast is a witness. Let's make the village great again. My grandfather used to tell me when he would go to his village, he would come back with plenty. Now go to your village, you're scared because they'll kidnap you. Now you're scared if you go to your village, they'll kidnap you. Now you're scared they'll do juju on you. What happened to us? What happened to us as Africans? So we have to stop being silly. We have to stop playing games. If we're going to make Nigeria work, I'm almost done. This is my last sentence. If we're going to make Nigeria work, then let's make Nigeria work. Not Fulani will be dominating everything. Not in Lagos, Yoruba. Because I'm telling you guys, I experienced it. To rent a shop, they were giving the Yoruba the prime real estate. The Igbos were getting their own real estate. First thing they'll ask you, where are you from? So I'm not deceiving myself as an Isoko man in Lagos there. They say, oh, one Nigeria. And then, wait, let me finish, please. I'm not going to deceive myself as an Isoko man. I say, oh, one Nigeria. And then I'm almost done. I'm not going to deceive myself. I say, oh, it's one Nigeria. Yet the Yoruba people are protecting themselves. Yet the Fulanis are protecting themselves. So either we're going to make it one Nigeria work for everybody, or we're going to stop deceiving ourselves. That's all I have to say.
That's them up. That's them up. Wait, can I say something? Wait, please, just one thing. Right? My mom is from Uye. So I grew up in, as I said, Warri, right? In a fruit market. The Uye people are giving priority over every single tribe. They pay less for everything. Okay. In Ozoro, I'm from Elu, right? I'm a proper Elu boy. I love the village. Zoro is the same thing that is going on. If you go to every part, go to Onitsha, it's the same thing. They will always put a preference over indigenes. This is Africa, my guy. Get used to it.
So, okay. Now, just like he said, so I don't know who he's been dealing with in Lagos State, considering that my own father is from Abuja and my mother is Ibadan. So both of them they were born in Lagos and grew up in Lagos, right? And from the time that my mom was a young child, they had to deal and they do business with Igbos. The Igbos rent with them. They are friends with them. In fact, I married to an Igbo man, right? I never thought that would happen, but it did. So I have family that haven't to Igbo people. They bought property from us. The only thing I've never seen is from somebody from my side going to the Igbo land to buy property. But as far as Lagos State, anybody, any Nigerians can 100%. Buy property. It depends.
Lagos State is more cosmopolitan than any place in Nigeria.
Exactly. So if somebody doesn't buy, if you try to get,
I didn't say buy property. I said rent shops.
Rent shop, buy property. Everything
is happening there as we speak.
In Lagos, you see Igbo guys speaking Yoruba, right? And they will act like indigene. What are you talking about?
Take a look at this, brother. You mentioned Mushin, right? My grandfather's house is number 1 Mushin Street, number 1. If you look at that downstairs, right, where all the shop is, all of them are from Igbo, period. Those are the people my grandfather rent his shop to. It's just, that's the way we've been running it. You will not see a Yoruba there, right? Even
but that is your family. I'm not saying that that's not the case. But wait, Auntie, look, let's not deceive ourselves, Auntie. If I'm telling you, wait, Gas Them Up was in Nigeria, and I'm trying to rent shop, and this is what they're asking me.
Take a look.
Don't go. It happens. So let's not do.
Okay, go ask the Yoruba man that is renting shop in Ozoro what he passed through, or ask the Igbo man in Efrun what he passed through. You are complaining about your own.
The point is that don't ask me to be one Nigeria if Nigerians are not going to uphold it.
Which country do you want? Let's just be straight up.
You don't already sell yourself. You sabi follow not, so no discuss with me.
Which country do you want? If you think you are Biafra, then you don't know your history.
It's okay. I didn't ask for any Biafra. I did not ask you. I did not ask you. You see, you talk too much. You talk too much. I did not say anything about Biafra. I'm telling you again. So they keep quiet and listen. You don't want to listen.
The country of Bendel.
Oh, okay, obviously you want to just be blabbing. I'm telling you again, I did not say anything about Biafra. All I'm telling you is, don't ask me to be one Nigeria if Nigerians are not ready to do it.
So you're not ready to make the country better. So just keep quiet and don't talk about anything that has to do with the development.
Go and follow, be kissing Dambari for years, kissing the Hausa for years. If you support Buhari, go and be kissing Hausa for behind your years. Continue.
It's not a normal thing in Isoko land. Tribalism is only for you. It's not a normal thing in Isoko land.
Calm down. All right, Missy Barr, go ahead. They will pass the
Take a look at this, right?
Go ahead, Missy Barr. They'll pass the
We all kiss the white man's ass all the time. And
that's not true. But they don't want to kiss a Fulani man's ass, but they will kiss a white man's ass.
If the white man put a gun on your head, you will kiss his ass, call him sir until he kills you.
The Fulani man, you want war.
Listen, my brother. You see, whenever we say let's tell ourselves the truth, I don't know which truth we're telling, right? Well, but you can't look at the world from the prism of what happened to you as an individual. If you go to all the Lagos State, there is a lot of different group renting there. If you go to Mushin, Ikeja, there is a lot of people renting there, right? All the way inside my father is from Ibarra. That's where I got the name from. In Ibarra. They are all different groups, right? I was so excited to see them there because we're all one people. I will say until we shed envy, jealousness, disrespect of each other from our mind and kill that part of ourselves, that see, those that look at you as others, we are never going to get anywhere.
Right? And don't ask me to do that. That's all I'm saying, Auntie. Don't ask me to do that until those people are doing it. Don't put me at a disadvantage.
Listen.
You are putting me at a disadvantage if I follow your system.
I'm not listening. If you live in United States, you are at a disadvantage. If you live in Europe, you are at a disadvantage.
Auntie, we're not talking of Europe and America. We're talking that.
About it. You're gonna have to talk about
it. Auntie, we're not discussing.
Listen. Oh my goodness. Let me finish my thought so that I don't miss it. Right? I'm not as brainy as you young people. Listen. Until you make those that look at you and your country a priority, you're going to have the same problem, right? If you go to any part of the world, including China, they make their own people priority. Now, to say because somebody didn't make you a priority because you want to rent a shop, right? Because of that, we should go and tear up an entire country. Granted,
no, ma, I didn't say that.
Listen. I understand you, right? All of us have a beef with somebody, but your beef should not become national beef. Your problem.
No, ma, you're putting words in my mouth, madam. Ma, you're doing what you're doing is disingenuous. It's not fair. I didn't say those things, ma. I didn't say those things, ma. What I'm saying, look, see, and I'm glad it's being brought to the forefront. See, the problem of Nigeria, one of the problems is Yoruba, Igbo, Hausa, every ethnicity. Nobody wants to be honest. What you are saying is fine, right? It's good if we all wake up tomorrow and do what you are saying. But let's be real. In the ground level, no be waiting the apple. I was there in Fagba when Hausa, one of the police killed Hausa boy. Wait, so listen. One of the police killed Hausa boy. The Hausas were fighting. I was there with my woman. They were pulling knife. I was 5 seconds away from where they were stabbing the guy. Let me finish. Oh God, let me talk to her. Let me finish.
We've been meeting to pass the Queen Nigeria. Go ahead, Queen Nigeria. Go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Prince Dinas. Hello, everyone. Hello, Mrs. Ibarra, Oreva, Gaspamop. I'm fine. Hello to Nigeria and everyone listening. You know, I'm really glad today, being that I'm from southern Nigeria, specifically the Urobo tribe. I'm glad that we had Oreva in the studio, and also I don't know if Gazdemop, I don't know if it's from the southern part.
I'm an Isoko man.
Isoko, so it sounds like it. I'm glad that we can see a minority Nigerian tribe here and a majority, which is the Yoruba. And it's sad. I'm not trying to, throw shades. This is me trying to help put in my own quarter to see how I can help everyone move forward in a more positive direction. It's really sad and embarrassing to see us Africans, I don't even want to say Nigerians, but us Africans fighting each other here, quarreling in public because of tribes. It's a shame.
Exactly.
And there is tribalism in Nigeria, whether we like it or not. So those people who were saying what they were saying about tribalism, it is true. You can experience it. Now, I have never heard about it in terms of renting shop, but I know it happens in Nigeria in terms of jobs. I know it happens in terms of school, where you can't get into certain universities easily if they're not in your state of origin. It's very popular in Nigeria. You can't even, as I can't go to and live in Ekiti state for 20 years and then say I want to run for governorship. Most likely they won't vote for me. They would say, I'm not from there. So it happens, but being that it happens, why does it happen is what we should be asking ourselves. We always have to look back at the Berlin Conference, when white men sat together and they all wanted a share of the African wealth. And what did they do? They all, like, if we all want this cake, we all have to share and get a piece of the cake. Now, that's why you see we are very, we've been divided and conquered. And we keep falling victims to it. And the victim we fall into tribalism is similar to the victim, African Americans unfortunately fell to drugs. Because cocaine was put into their community. And sadly, they processed it. White people didn't process it. They processed it into crack cocaine by themselves and sold to their own people. So this division has been put among us as Africans. When Nigeria was being created, the Igbos didn't want to be part of the Awusas, but Queen Elizabeth II, she knows the Awusas are more willing to comply with her. So she made sure that we were together with them. Now, do we keep falling victim to that and keep cooking up this tribalism for years and decades, later we're still fighting each other. It's not going to lead us anywhere. And I really understand when you say, as a Warri guy, why would you vote for Buhari? I definitely understand that because I'm from there. I hear things like that all the time, but Buhari personally, I don't support his government. I think his government is a failed government. But was Jonathan's government successful? There was definitely less hunger in Nigeria during Jonathan's government.
Now, sister, say I never mentioned Jonathan. I didn't say anything about support Jonathan. Just saying that for the record.
We know that Jonathan is the only Niger Deltan that has ever been president, so you don't even.
But I never said support him. I'm just saying for the record.
I am mentioning. Allow me mention who I please to mention, please. Now, Jonathan's government was definitely, more economically stable than Buhari's government, but still Jonathan failed.
So I have a question. What happened when somebody loots all the money out of the country? What will happen when that person leave the government? Won't you see the result of all the money that was looted?
Exactly.
Is that not what is causing part of the problem you guys
yes,
going on in Nigeria?
And I want to say regarding the topic, someone said that the promise Buhari made to Nigeria was to fight corruption. Truly, that was the number one promise he made, which he has failed to. What was the number one promise Jonathan promised Nigeria? We all forget. He said 24/7 electricity power supply. He failed as well. All of our leaders have failed, whether from the east, the west, the north, and south. Even Peter Obi from Anambra State. I know that I support Peter Obi, but still, look at Anambra State when you go there. Unfortunately, it's still as it was before. Forget about what he's saying. He left this amount of money there in the reserve. We're not talking about leaving money in the reserve alone. We're talking about how you promote change. Now, Anambra people are very industrious people. Go to Nnewi. They're one of the richest Igbos, if not the richest. But that has always been their character. It's not Peter Obi that came and changed everything, and that's where they make our, if I'm not mistaken, isn't that where I buy? Is that where they make our shoes and stuff? I might be wrong, but so our leaders have all failed us. It's time we start to look inward and work together, not just as Nigeria alone, as an entire African continent. We need to know that before the Berlin Conference, Africa was one. They came and they disrupted everything, and we continue to fall victim to it. Then regarding the issue of drugs in Nigeria, growing up in Nigeria, I know that the most common drug we knew was Igbo, which is weed. And when we say someone is smoking Igbo, we mostly look at it as it's people who are like cult boys in universities who are into that and things like that. I mean, there's always been cocaine and even crack in Nigeria, and even some poor people are into it because you could be rich and get on crack and you're gonna become broke, and that's just how it is. So you can still see people on crack on the streets. I mean, definitely not as common as the West, right? And definitely there is more glue abuse common, there's more tramadol, more codeine abuse common, because those are the affordable kinds of drugs in Nigeria, right?
Let me Queen Niger. And the all the tramadol or all those other things you're talking about, those have been bought from the chemist, right?
Yes.
Which means
there's corruption. Exactly. There is corruption there.
Down on all of those chemists.
Exactly. You made a very strong point there.
You
made a very strong point there, Mrs. Ibarra. There was a documentary I watched on the codeine epidemic in Nigeria, and the lady, the journalist went to try to buy a large amount of was it codeine syrup, and she was able to purchase it, even though the pharmacist was licensed and he knew that was dealing drugs, right?
Now look at this.
Hold on, Mrs. Ibarra.
When we're talking about all of us needs to work together, right?
Exactly what I was going to say.
All of us understand that people are suffering. Nobody is doubting that. I'm asking you, my sister, when you have your House of Congress or your House of Representatives getting all types of money that they are getting per month, right? All those money need to reduce at a level where every representative should get enough.
Whether they are Igbo, they are Yoruba, they are Hausa.
It does. Listen, do you understand what I say? I say Nigerians. I don't care what part you came from, right? I'm saying that if you want to represent Nigeria and you are in the House of Representatives, your monthly allowance should not be more than 250,000 naira. If that is not enough for you, take a hike. We're not going to sustain you for the rest of your life. Every single governor, maybe 500,000 to 1 million naira, right? That's good enough. If it's not good enough, bounce. We're not going to support your wife. All those money can be funneled towards the youth, right? When the youth have enough to eat, right? You are likely going to see, you are not going to see a lot of this problem. I'm saying be one Nigeria, be one nation, be black first. Right?
Be black first, definitely.
That's foreign people that are in that country. Every Nigerian should be, just like you see white people do here, that you go to their neighborhoods, they're checking you out while you hear what you're doing here. Every Nigerian should be doing the same thing to everybody that is not black. Number one, you should do that to every Nigerian criminal that you know is committing an offense.
Yeah.
Number two, take them to the police.
We used to do that.
When a Nigerian see you commit crime, Nigerians used to take them and hand them over to the police. Get back to doing a good citizen job. Be a security that your country needs until we get a good security. The behavior of the people will determine the type of government we have. If the people are criminal minded, the government will be criminal minded. Tell the truth at all times. It doesn't cost anything. Let's be good governance.
Auntie, you are right. The problem is,
take a look at this. Man, be good to your wife, wife, be good to your children, be good to your husband, because your behavior at home will reflect what is going on in the society.
Yes, but
I'm
Auntie,
telling you what you don't know. Start from you, and
but
then
Auntie,
explain it to your friends.
no one is disputing what you are saying. Auntie, listen, go down to Lagos and try and implement what you are saying. You have to be ready for a fight.
It's
The
all
current, and that's what I'm saying. Auntie, look, listen. Many people are not. Auntie, you may be ready to fight. Nobody in Nigeria is ready to fight. That's what I'm telling you.
What are we going to do?
So that's what. Then let's talk. That's what I'm saying. Nobody in Nigeria is ready to fight.
You get what you get, right? Because we're gonna have to pick one. We're gonna have to say at all cost, we're gonna have to make a better Nigeria, a better Africa. Otherwise, we're gonna be colonized again.
Yeah, Mrs. Ibarra, I would like to address what Gastemop just said. If you go back to Nigeria, no one is ready to change. They'll fight you. There's a lot of truth to that, but at the same time, it's not completely true. Trust me when I say there are Nigerians who are not, that they don't have that, negative corruption in them. They try to make a difference, But
I'm talking of the fight.
I'm talking now. It is true that when you're trying to make a change in Africa or anywhere in the world, a majority of the people will always come and fight you because they're used to that negative system. They don't want to do away with it because they benefit from it, right? So yes, you will get a fight, but you shouldn't let that stop you. The name is escaping my mind at the moment. Please pardon me. But there's this woman who used to be the NAFDAC boss back then who died.
Yes, and she was fighting for the drugs. Yes, I remember her. Yes,
she was fighting seriously against drugs, and not just hard drugs. Fake medicine, pharmaceutical drugs as well. And she did get that fight you were talking about. Several assassination attempts on her life. But guess what? Did that stop her? No. Did she make an impact? Yes. Did she save the lives of thousands of Nigerian children who could have died from those fake drugs? Yes. She could have been one person. But she didn't say because she's gonna get a fight, she changed her mindset. You understand me?
Nobody is saying that. What again? I think you guys are not understanding what I'm saying.
Okay.
Power only concedes to power. That's just the fact. That is why, at the end of the day, right? I can read French theory all day. I can read Foucault, Baudrillard, but as Sister Ibarra said, when those Marines and Navy SEALs come knocking on your door with the flash grenades and the bang grenades, and they're coming with the M16s, are you prepared? And that's just what it is. Power only concedes to power. If you are not ready to say you are ready to get your gun, chop rice, starve frustrate. And if we're not ready, then we are all see, we are all deceiving ourselves. And this is my own thing about Nigeria. Like I said, one Nigeria can work, Nigeria might function. I hope it does. But as an Isoko man, nobody's going to sell me on that dream, on that pipe dream again. Because wait, let me tell you why. Let me tell you why. Because these people, these same elders, watched as Nigeria was going bad in the 80s. I sent an email to Dynast. I wish I had to Nigeria's email. I could have sent it to him too. Where Shoneko was bringing in IMF and GM to Nigeria. These people are dead and gone. When Abiola was bringing ITT to Nigeria, these people are dead and gone. They thought they were doing the right thing for us. They were selling us, and they are dead and gone. So what I'm saying is, so what I'm saying, wait, auntie, listen. They are dead and gone. Funny enough, their mentality still is playing out amongst their children who are ruling us, or is still playing out amongst the ruling class today. So that's just what it is. It's a failed project. It's a failed project. And I think the earlier we realize it's a failed project, the better we can start to see where we want to move going forward.
Listen, the reason Nigeria, Mrs. Ibarra, I would even like to tell him something. The reason Nigeria is a failed project in the first place, even before it started, gas them up, is something you know it's a failed project, good job, but you don't realize why it's a failed project. It's a failed project because we were divided in the first place from the rest of our African brothers and sisters.
Nobody is fighting that. I know that already.
But you didn't mention that.
No, we know that already. See, like I said, we can read Bassey Davidson, we can read Walter Rodney, we can read all the historians, we can read Chinwe Izu, we can read all these people. What I'm now saying is power only conceals power. Wait, no, Auntie, let me tell you. See, look, if you're not ready to go down to Nigeria,
go ahead. Go ahead. We'll pass it to Nigel because he's been waiting. Go
ahead. Okay. If you're not ready to go down to Nigeria and create serious armed revolt or serious non-violent resistance, we are wasting our time.
Okay. I'm not everything you say, I'm not disputing it. But I'm saying that at some point, let me ask you a question. Were you aware of the Britain, was it last year or the year before, that they were planning to go ahead and cause conflict in 6 African countries, Nigeria being one of them, right? Do you want to tell me, what did Nigeria do to Britain to come and start a war in Nigeria? I'm asking you. What did they do?
I don't want to answer. I want to let Nigeria go. I don't want to be rude, so I'll let Nigeria go.
What did the Nigerian did to them or any other African country? And you have to realize, for them to have said something like that, they already started that conflict somehow. Something has already occurring. So when all you Nigerians coming out that you say you want Nigerians to be divided, I'm asking you, you think if you are divided into many nations, your problem is solved? Now they can easily conquer you because you're not as powerful as before. Because even within yourself.
But remember, I never said separate into nations. I never said anything about separate. I didn't say separate.
To Niger.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Dynast, and greetings to everyone on the panel, Ibarra, Queen Nigeria, and gas them up. And the chat and the viewers, man, this is a bit of a, I think everybody's making their own points quite strongly. And I think I subscribe to the school of Ibarra and Queen Nigeria more, because I think it's true to say that most of our leaders have not delivered for us. And about why, they wanted to, cause all those conflicts like in Nigeria. What did Nigeria do to anybody? Because Nigeria belongs to a class of nations that if we get our act together, our influence will be magnified. Well, we'll become more powerful than the UK from these other countries because we have a lot of influence on the continent, a massive continent with a lot of resources. So, and we are the largest black nation on earth of a people that are up to 1 billion strong. Nigeria is very important. Strategically important. So this is why they focus on Nigeria a lot, and Nigeria cannot breathe. And then you have to ask yourself, our leaders' failures or they have managed to keep the roof up? I don't know. People can decide whatever they fall on that. In the end, it doesn't matter. because where we are right now is what we need to build from. Have managed to keep the roof up. We have to build from there. And till date, while all this stuff was going on, it just dawned on me that even Pan-Africanists never really focused on, for me, the most critical aspect, which is defense. I seem to be the only one talking about it constantly, because that is the only thing that matters. The reason why they have so many military bases in Africa is because they know it's important for them.
Exactly.
But we don't see it as important. Our men don't see it as important. And part of it is because when I saw a video with Obasanjo, they were talking to him, asking him why he ordered the massacre of a village once. He said because people there, and he sent people there again, and he asked them to be massacred because they killed his men. Then what I got from that was
that
this is
OD
part
village?
of the reason why. Yeah, I think it was
In
ODI. They were
Biafra,
asking.
yeah.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why
was that during Biafra, the Igbo village that Murtala Muhammad was allegedly.
No, it was the Niger Delta militant when they were fighting, trying to control the oil. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. So part the what I got from that was that Nigerians, which is something most Nigerians know, and many African countries, they must also have experience. The experience they have of their military is often quite negative. They tend to have brutality experience, aloof experience. And because this military, they forget in reality, military is the savior of most nations. It's the reason why most nations are prosperous or not. But Nigerians hate their military. They don't want to serve in their military. They often keep themselves away from them. And it's very funny, isn't it?
We'll rather serve in American military.
Exactly.
That's what I'm about to say. As soon as Nigeria show up in America, they're going to go and fight
join the
another
US
African
Army.
nation.
Yeah.
How dumb
They
is
take
that?
pride in it. Yeah.
And when this is weird, because if these people developed a machine to do this to us, it's a very efficient machine, because it keeps our people not wanting to go near the military. We keep the military at an arm's length. We don't want to obey the rules. We want to break law. Nigeria is spectacularly the most inefficiently run country I have seen in the world. We do everything the hard way. Electricity, everybody has to get their own generator. Water, everybody has to dig their own borehole. Their military, everybody has to defend themselves, have their own estate guard, this guard, all kinds of private, everything private. It's like it's anarchy. Nobody wants to come together to do stuff. There is a reason why societies come together, because it's more efficient. Everybody contribute. Yeah.
Can you elaborate on what will happen when they drug up all the men in the country? The effect of that, it makes us even weaker. For those that want to tear that country apart, take a look at when you have more than your youth being drugged up. What is the future of that nation?
If they succeed,
many of the people that are involved in all this banditry, most of them are high on drugs. And I saw the video of them. They were smoking and the tramadol and all that stuff. It's very, very bad thing. Obviously, if you have people high on drugs, they can't make tangible decision on themselves. You do their life. That's basically what is happening. Because when you are high, you are not alive. You are not thinking clearly.
I'd like to add to what you said. Even in Sierra Leone during the Blood Diamond War, drug was what they used on even children soldiers for them to be able to fight the war and not cry about their mothers. Even in the World War II, the World War I, even Europeans used that on their own European soldiers. Yeah.
Every time you tell them these things, because I will keep hacking on to the same problem. Every time you tell our Nigerians that you need to build your defenses, you can't have one soldier defend 2,000 people. And every time they will try to give you any example, and anytime they give you that example, you tell them, look at the result of the example you just gave me. That's not what they did. These people defended themselves first. Most of them will say UAE doesn't have this. I'll say, look at UAE in 1990. That their ratio is one soldier to about 25 citizens. Ours is one soldier to about 2,000. Burkina Faso just had a coup. The ratio is almost one soldier to 3,000. I think going to 4,000 actually. A country of 20 million people has 6,000 something soldiers. What is happening to black people? See, I tell you this. This is not me just trying to talk military. There is something wrong.
When you have it. So, Naija, what do you think of the idea of, from the very moment that a Nigerian child turned to 15, 16, they should already be training them in some type of military defense at school. By it, every Nigerian's male should be forced to be in the military.
That is why our nations are unstable. This is why the nations are unstable. There's no order.
Mrs. Ibarra,
but Niger, here's the thing.
I beg to differ a little.
Can I tell Niger something very quickly, sister? Here's the thing, Niger. Niger is correct, and even like I said, I was there in Fagba when the Hausa guys were fighting the police, and yeah, I don't always agree with Niger, but in terms of the the defense being bolstered, it's definitely needed. However, here's the thing, Niger, and we've talked about this. One, since the advent of military governments, what has happened? The military governments were purposely not spending on the military because they were trying to undermine any coup to happen to them. So they were purposely keeping the military budget messed up and not spending in strategic areas. Because if, for example, Babangida spent on good military, and I think Abacha tried, but Obasanjo, on the rest of them, all these guys, Shonekong, and all these guys who are in the second. Wait, let me say this. So wait, hold on. So now they purposely were not spending on the military. Then also the other problem, and we've said this before. Let's be frank. If we're talking about expenditure, naira for naira, the Nigerian state is broke. We don't raise enough internal revenue. What is the magic of the United States defense? If you really study the United States, what allows them to have the world's strongest military? They're able to float bonds, what they call treasuries, and they put those treasuries on the back of the American taxpayer. The American taxpayer is on the hook for trillions of dollars, which the American taxpayer will gladly pay because they see it as a civic duty of being a citizen of the Republic of the United States. Nigerians have not. So until we can now do those two things, we can, like you say, start forcing all these political class. Okay, look, we need to start boosting the military. Like I saw it when I would be stopped at the Uber and the police. I'll see one rusty AK-47. I'm like, is this guy really the one that's going to protect me when these boys start their wala? No. So yeah, we have to start forcing the political class to spend on police, on the state level, and on military. But then also we have to be able to find a way to raise internal revenue, proper internal revenue, so that money can be used to fund defense.
Guess what? But you don't have that money.
Can I just address the point that he raised? What troubles me about that point is that all evidence suggests that the larger the military you have, the more stable the nation is. You are not likely to get this in overthrow of regimes. Like even when you get them, like in Turkey, it fails because you have to convince such a large set of commanders and all the rest to fail when you have a larger military. So the argument that our military regime reduce their military because of that, I don't buy it, because the evidence supposes you should have military is that regime.
But have you looked at the budget? I was looking at the budgets that what do you call it? That they did give out to the military at that time. The budgets were not. I can't remember where I got the source, but the budgets that they were spending on military during the time of military regimes was, in terms compared to civilian regime before the first coup, is anemic. It's not the same. So what I'm saying to Nigeria is this.
There's something more to this. You see, everything you said is normal if the leaders intend to do it. If they wanted to do it, they could have done it in the last 5 years, in the last 8 years. They could have.
But they won't do it to Nigeria. You know that now. Our leaders are busy crying that the Queen died. Nigeria is a British colony. They're still crying, oh, the Queen Lizzie died. Oh, Queen Lizzie. Oh, God. Hey, the white woman. So how can you take these people serious?
I'm asking myself questions about whether the independence stuff we signed, maybe there are clauses that we don't know about. Because there's something weird about this.
So I told you, the independence document does not say the word independence on it. The people who signed these documents were lawyers. Can you imagine, Dynast? Think about this. Your lawyer signs a document that says Dynast is independent, but the document doesn't have the word independence on it. And this is what Nigerians believe is the document that the British gave them.
But what I'm saying is that it appears that there is something more inside it, because the uniformity of black countries in Africa, there's something strange about it. It's not like
the
that
same document that they gave the Ghanaians
and the French countries too. All of them.
Hello, please, can I say something before we pass it to
sorry, go ahead.
You know, I think what we're saying all ties together. I beg to differ with Mrs. Ibarra on the issue that, you know, our male should be forced into the military. First of all, male and female, but I don't think anybody should be forced. I think it should be a choice. But even if we're given the choice, we have the mental problem where we will prefer to, you know, go be part of the Western military than our own military. And a big part of it is because of the brutality we've experienced in the hands of our own military, like Tunaja said. But the main issue I even want to talk about before pass it to Larry is this. Now, one of our biggest problems is actually corruption in Nigeria. It's something that is one thing all Nigerians can agree on. Now, some people think it's more of a problem from the government side, while others think it's more of a problem from the masses. I think it's a problem from both sides, if you ask me. It's just that the government has more power, so they will do it a lot more, you know, in your face. If you know you're corrupt on a little scale here as a part of the mass, and they give you a lot of power, you're still gonna do the same thing that, you know, all these corrupt politicians are doing. And you look at any of you now try to go make a huge amount of payment, you know, here in America. Just try to go book an expensive ticket or send a huge amount of money back home, you know, that's above your limit. Just watch what's going to happen. It's not going to go through. They're not going to let you take that money out of their country to your country in Africa just like that if the amount is so huge, as fraud prevention. And yes, I understand there needs to be fraud prevention because there is a lot of fraud in the world, right? But that tells you that their system here is very well monitored and regulated. If it's so regulated that to a very high extent, a lot of drug dealers in America and cartels can't really store a huge chunk of their money in the banks. They do a lot of storing of their money in terms of assets like mansions, and try to clean it up by owning businesses and stuff, right? If their system is that well policed, their financial systems are that well policed that you can't just take huge sums of money out of their country without them noticing. Even their own drug dealers here can't really depend on their financial systems here. Why is it that African leaders can funnel in billions of dollars annually and it's going undetected? The West knows that this money is coming in, but they're using this money to fund their own Western military, to give their people as loans and get interest, which is basically they're using our money to do business deals off the corruption of our politicians. And it's a very big problem because as this keeps happening, you know, just a minute, as this keeps happening, you know, you find out that the elite is being pointed as stealing money from the country, right? But then it falls back on us because they use our money for trade, and you find out that the West is just as guilty of the corruption in Africa. And we know this, they're just as guilty. We are as guilty as well, right? Because now we know these politicians are corrupt, but watch what will happen when they're sharing rice. For APC is campaigning or PDP is campaigning, Labour Party is campaigning, they're sharing umbrella. We know they're corrupt. We're still gonna take their stuff. They're gonna give us 5,000 naira, 10,000 naira to and watch you Tom print and vote for them, and we'll still go and vote for them on the ballot boxes. So you think you're doing just a small corruption. Now it's not all Nigerians that do that, of course, but for those ones who do, you know, we are the really the ones who enable these politicians. And then it's so complicated that when you find politicians who are they're so stain free to the point that they do not condone any form of corruption at all, guess what the West does? The West will kill them. With the aid of who? With the aid of their own black brothers.
This is what we're trying to tell our people. Everything that you think is going on in Nigeria is being affected by external forces. Look at former vice president, what is that fool? Dick Cheney. During his time, that bribed the Nigerian government of 500 billion or whatever, 500 million or so.
Look at Thomas Sankara. How was Thomas? Yeah, how was Thomas
somebody? How much did we lose?
How was Thomas Sankara killed? He was killed with his second in command, the one he called his own brother, a traitor, a sellout. How was Patrice Lumumba killed? His second in command. So when we don't have this united mindset, when it's this tribe versus this tribe, and even within the same tribe, it is you still don't want your brother to do better than you. You feel you're the one who deserves that number one spot than he does. You'll be used. You get used as a tool in the hands of the creators. Who are the creators? The people who created these individual countries. Because before we were all one. I pass it to Mr. Larry. Thank you.
Hey, Larry, you'll go ahead and close out for us too, but take your time. Go ahead.
Thanks very much. Thank you. Dynast, I wanted to ask you, in the United States of America, I remember in the 1970s, Richard Nixon declared war on drugs. And then in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan declared war on drugs. In your opinion,
I didn't know Nixon did in the 70s. I know Reagan did in the 80s.
Yeah, it was first Richard Nixon and then Ronald Reagan did it. Fast forwarding to 2022, in your opinion, has America been successful in its war against drugs?
No.
You see, that's quite worrying, because yes, in regards to your topic today, there is an epidemic in Nigeria, I believe so, of drugs. But the question is, I don't know what the solution is. I'm looking at the most powerful country in the world. And if that country has not been able to resolve that problem, I don't know for the life of me how Nigeria is going to resolve that problem.
Were they trying to resolve it in the first place? That's the question.
Well, this is the thing. I don't want to start making those accusations. I know about the journalist and what he said in the 80s about the CIA and drugs coming in, but I don't want to start condemning people. But then I don't want to then use that template and then say maybe the reason drugs is coming into Nigeria is because there are people in powerful positions who are allowing it to flow into Nigeria. I don't want to make that accusation. I can't see a solution.
Why not say that? Why are we scared to say that?
Because you need evidence. So we can all, I don't want to go down the road of just saying, well, these people are corrupt and that's the same.
Did the white man need evidence before he said Gaddafi was raping women?
Listen, this is not an argument about whether people are good or bad. If they're bad people doing it, fine. I'm here to talk about what could possibly be the solution. Because when I look at what's been going on in America and even in the UK, I can't see a solution. So I don't see how there's going to be a solution in Nigeria to get rid of that. That's the problem I see, because I'm looking at the template.
Well, Larry, so in certain countries, I mean, if you get caught with drugs, it's death penalty. So you implement the death penalty.
Philippines is an example.
But that's all well and good. I don't dispute what you're saying. In Thailand, you have stiff sentences. But the problem is, in those countries, they still have a drug problem. Okay, the problem hasn't gone away. But look at your country. Look at your country. The drug, the sentences for for distributing drug is very high.
It's very racial.
It's extremely racial.
Very racial.
Sorry,
it used to be.
Yes, during the. Can I tell you something?
Wait. I want to be sure of this. I'm talking about cocaine. Are you saying now if people?
During the days.
Hold on a minute. So what is it now? If you get caught trying to bring cocaine into America,
I'll say this, Larry. It depends on the amount. It depends on the city. It depends on the state. Like, for example, if you get caught in like LA, if you get caught in LA or New York City, they might let you out on bail and you won't have a court date for months, depending on the amount. Now, if you get caught in one of these rural Republican towns or cities, they're throwing away the key. So it just depends where.
Okay.
It depends on your skin tone, right?
So then, are you saying then, are people then saying here that the solution then would be firing squad for people caught? It's really like
I think stiffer penalties, and then at the end of the day, like somebody, Queen Nigeria said, and I've been saying this for a while. Okay, the white man put dope in the black communities, but the white man did not force the black man to take that cocaine, cook it up, turn it into crack, sell it amongst our people, then buy brand new Mercedes drop tops and BMW drop tops and big ass Gucci belt buckles and all that other stuff, and big ass gold medallions.
But what about the economic What about because again, you're right. You don't have to force someone, and I agree with that to a certain degree. However, when you do put people in economic situations, so when we saw the removal of factories, right? Because most of the young men who were selling drugs, again, they didn't have to. They could have, got a real estate license. They could have got a pilot license. They could have got a life insurance license. They could have sold other products, right? They could have went to Cintas and worked with you. But let's be clear: most of the young men who were youthful men in the early '90s and '80s who were selling these drugs would have probably been working in factories had those factories not been removed. So it's like if I create an economic situation where it's like I put you.
But
okay.
I don't agree.
Freeze Dynast, can I tell Gas them up something? Gas them up. I would like to use myself as a quick instance.
Okay, somebody has a background. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's me. Let me
go ahead.
When I came to Americas, you all know I was an international student. In America, as an international student, you can't work on campus until you've been here for 1 year. And secondly, you cannot work outside campus. Now, a lot of the students who have their jobs on campus, who are international students, they're not trying to give up their jobs except they graduate, because that's how they support themselves, right? So what am I saying is, I was jobless for a long time, and that was the period where Buhari stopped transferring First Bank from transferring tuitions to be paid for to Nigerian students in diaspora. We all Nigerian students had to go in group, both the ones who were friends and enemies and all that, to the school to plead, as if we're the only ones in the school. So basically what I'm saying is, during that time frame, right, that was when the dollar, the naira kept falling. It went all the way from 180 to 500. I was under the worst kind of economic stress, financial stress you could ever imagine. I never even thought I would survive till this very day. Now, this is no joke. When I say economic stress, I mean economic stress that I didn't have 25 cents to board the bus to school. It's not like I don't read and I don't know what to do. I don't even have, it was just so crazy, right? Now, that being said, being that a lot of my friends back home in Nigeria knew that I was now in the US, guess what? About 3 of my friends over time, they approached me for what? Approached me trying to get them. Later on, I found out what it's called. So I know now it's called picking. Then I was naive. I didn't know it was called picking. They approached me to pick for them, basically to help them transfer money that they
money, and they'll give you a percentage. You send it back.
Money that they defrauded someone. Guess what? I felt very tempted to do it because I needed that money desperately. But you know what I didn't do? I didn't take it. I was tempted to prostitute for money. And you know what I didn't do? I never ever prostituted. I have been in a situation before, right, where a friend of mine was trying to convince me to, drink. I know a lot of people drink. I'm not criminalizing it, but I'm saying personally for me, I don't do it. I don't want to do it. She tried to peer pressure me into doing it. Everyone on the table was saying, "Oh, just try it." I didn't, and she knew I didn't even take the cocktail in front of me. But then she had someone go bring a shot on my behalf, and she had the whole restaurant shouting, "Drink, drink, drink." And guess what? I didn't do. I didn't drink it. And when they were done shouting, you know what they do? They shut up.
But those are anecdotals.
Listen.
But those are anecdotals. Wait, but sister, hold on, wait.
Let me finish what I'm saying. The point I'm trying to make is not everyone has this kind of strong will. I get it. But still, why is that a problem? It's even a problem because as a people, we're not really deep into Pan-Africanism and our history. If we're deep into our Pan-Africanism and our history, and we know our purpose, we know where we're coming from, we know what.
But we're talking about drugs.
Let me finish. We know our goals. We know what we're trying to achieve out of the West. There is nobody, or even in Nigeria, we know what where we're trying to take Nigeria to. There is nobody that will come and offer you drugs and you will take it.
Oh, wait, hold on, wait. You see what you're saying again? Nobody's disputing your anecdotal experience, and it's a testament to your skill and your strength that you're able to, push through.
It's just
what I'm saying, sister, is that wait. Let me respond. Let me respond quickly. But wait, no, I don't believe in victim talk because we always talk about the victim. Wait, let me finish. Oh man, sister, let me finish. Now, let me respond to you. Queen Niger, let me respond to you. Look, listen.
You know why I don't want to take that victim talk, because that's what.
But wait, Queen Niger, I never finished. Now cool down. Let me finish. Look, all I'm saying is simple. Wait. Oh God, listen. I don't use the word victim anything. Why? Wait, let me. Oh God, now wow. Listen, I don't use the word victim without talking about the victimizers. That's just me. Again, is common conservative talking point. Oh, victim talk. I get it. That's cool. But at the end of the day, these people forget that there's two sides to a coin. There are victimizers as those who are victims. But we're talking about drugs. But wait. I want to get back to drugs. Because I don't want to get to any other anecdotal experiences. It's interesting that we talk about drugs because it's criminalized in America. If we were in a place like the red light district in Holland, where they don't criminalize drugs, where drugs are not seen in that aspect, and they take drugs from a social perspective, I don't think we would be having this conversation, because there they manage it. They say the individual is free to take the drugs that they want. As a matter of fact, if you go on Mike Milken is the guy who created the leverage buyout, who was the one who helped people like Reginald Lewis. He started the LBO buyout in the 1980s. On his platform, as of last year, there are people who are coming online saying that you can take a picogram of some type of heroin or some type of drug to actually help your... Wait, let me finish now. Let me finish, please. Oh my God. You see, this is the thing. Let's expose ourselves. Mike Milken, a billionaire. These are the guys, the titans of industry. On his platform, they're talking about taking a picogram of certain drugs, class A narcotics or whatever type of drugs. These are drugs in low doses because it has been shown to help boost productivity and performance. So all I'm saying is, and yeah, you guys can check it out. Mike Milken's platform, I forgot the name of his platform, it's on YouTube.
One mic. But Gassima, what does that got to do with selling dope in your community?
It has, what I'm saying is that selling dope is wrong because it's criminalized. However, if we were in a place where selling drugs was not criminalized and it was socially approached, where, for example, I've never been to Europe, but from what I've read about like the red light district, they provide social workers for the prostitutes, they provide social workers for the people who want to smoke weed and take other drugs, and so they're able to assist them. They're able to assist them, whereas in the United States there is a war on drugs.
Listen,
and that war on drugs.
That's the most.
Guess what?
You know why Mrs. Ibarra said it's racial? If you go to Seattle and you go to Portland, you know what the county government.
But I'm not talking about race.
They're giving them needles.
Well, you have
giving them needles.
I'm not talking about race. I'm saying that in Nigeria. Wait, look, I get race is a problem. Look, you don't have to lecture me about race. I've read all the things you are reading about race. I know race is a problem. I'm not some guy telling you that there's no color. Listen, look, what I'm telling you is that if drugs, I'm talking about drugs, focus on drugs, please. If drugs were not criminalized, the way if for example, if the way they treat drugs in Holland is treated the same way in Nigeria, we will have a different response to the drug issue that we're facing. That's all I'm saying. We already did that already. What Larry said, that we should be taking guns to kill drug dealers. Wait, Auntie Shebi, remember in the 90s and the 80s, they were shooting drug dealers in Bar Beach. They were killing them in Bar Beach now, Shebi. And now we know this. So they've been doing this already. We can take a different approach. That's all I'm saying.
Guess what? Remember that the response or the Nigerian response of the way they treated the so-called drug dealer in Nigeria, or even the drug addict in Nigeria, was as a result of the law that America was implementing. If you remember, for the longest time, America was attacking Colombia government, right? They're attacking Colombia. I mean, people should really go and study what happened in Colombia all the way in the 90s, or even to the late 2000 or early 2000s.
Yeah, the FARC terrorists.
But take a look at this. At the end of the day, Nigerians need to handle their own situation according to what is on the ground, not from the influence. We cannot live out. The country should not be run under fear. We need to say, this is our people. What can we do when you have a young people somebody 14, 15, they want to start using glue. I don't know what the hell glue is. I'm just learning about it. All this stuff, right? What is causing it? All this social economic, what is the poverty, the starvation that's happening to young people? Okay, now when you have the same people that's going to be ruling the country, who are making out with millions and millions of dollars, to say Nigeria doesn't have money, we got money. Where the money is going, when you're using all the money that comes into the country to just run the government, to pay for the government official fee only, right? You're going to have to redirect all that wealth. And that is why an average Nigerians, there is no power that all this government will have, that 100 million of us cannot stand up, 150 million people cannot stand up and say, listen, this is how much you need to get paid. The amount you get paid as a salary needs to be in proportion to what makes civil sense. That you are never supposed to take money out of the country the way you guys are doing. Every Nigerian citizen from 18 years old should be made to serve in the country. The devil is a liar that you show up in America and everybody else, and you're so proud of that.
Auntie, do you know what Buhari will tell you? They will tell you this, and this is the number one excuse. This is a response to Eleria and to Niger. What would they say? They'll say the Constitution. And this is the number one problem I have with Nigeria. None of us sat down there and came up with that Constitution. They will tell you the 1999 Constitution. To Niger, who gave us this 1999 Constitution that we are following? Who gave it to us?
The 1999 Constitution is a derivative from the 1979 one.
Okay.
And,
so go ahead.
That was written by Nigerians. So, and part of, we can't make the perfect the enemy of the good. No constitution in this world is perfect. Exactly. The point is that you need to get on, because what I find with Nigerians, especially our Nigerian men, they always make excuse for inaction. Oh, there's a robbery going on in my house. So can you go and confront the armed robber? Not until the constitution is resolved. Can you come and build this house? Not until the constitution is resolved. This is the issue. You can't keep making excuses because of paper. You have to start organizing, and we have to start becoming immune to this divisive kind of talk where we keep worrying about. Because in the end, we have a greater threat out there. This is not a time.
What will you say to Buhari when he tells you the Constitution needs referendum?
Buhari doesn't say anything like that. See,
I don't understand. I don't understand what we're actually.
Let me just finish this point. Hold on, let me just finish this point. Every time people talk about constitution, the truth is Nigerians barely follow the constitution anyway. There are so many things that are not meant to be done in the country that is happening right now, that is outside the constitution. Part of the constitution says that the local government should have money for this thing. The governor seized the money. What did the president do? He took the local governments, the governors to court, and the governors were found. They asked them to release the money. The government didn't release the money. What happened? Nothing. Amotekun shouldn't exist. Amotekun exists today. That was against the constitution. Power generation is not supposed to be done by these states. It's still being done by some states today. And the police in Lagos is being funded separately, especially apart different from other. And yet, other governors keep making the excuse that, oh, it's the constitution that says that we are not allowed to have our own police. Yes, you may not be allowed to create a new police force, but you can tweak the police force you have in your state to do what you need it to do.
Exactly.
They are making excuses. This is an excuse for inaction.
How about the fact that all these oil companies are using Nigerian
I think Larry is trying to say something
in a wrong way.
Thanks, Queen Nigeria. I'm just interested in the solution. So earlier, someone was suggesting stiffer sentences, but I think that already exists in Nigeria. If you bring in drugs, they lock you up 15 to 20 something years. So that clearly is not working as a deterrent.
Even Larry, even in the case of the LGBTQ, I'm not saying whether I support them or I'm against them. It's criminalized in Nigeria by law, but you still find people calling themselves cross-dressers doing it everywhere openly.
Okay.
But wait,
so then the stiffer sentences has not provided a solution. So what is the other thing we're looking at?
But Larry, did you hear the part where I said earlier in the mid 2000s? The Colombian, not just the Colombian, but the drug cartels in South America started to move more drugs in through West Africa to get to Europe. And this was done in collusion with who? The West African, particularly the Nigerian mafias, and the armed services on the borders and and on the coastal regions. We all know, if I'm not mistaken, that whole Bight of Biafra area is one of, in terms of piracy, is one of the most dangerous areas. So how are these drugs flowing into these places? So realistically, if Larry, if you want to say you want to stop the drugs,
that's
fine. No, that's what I'm saying. So Larry, if you want to stop the drugs now in Nigeria, that means say you want to go and fight one general. You want to fight one commander. You ready for that wahala?
That's what
you ready for that beef, Larry?
What I'm asking,
what are you saying?
We don't have to argue about it. It's not that deep, God. So okay, fine. You're saying it's the military. So since you're saying it's the military gassed them up, you're then saying there is no solution for the drug epidemic. Basically.
No, I'm saying that like I gave the example of the Netherlands. I said they take a different, they don't criminalize drug activities in their countries. They find a way to make it an economic perspective, right? So they tax it. They say, you know what, look, instead of us throwing our citizens in jail for, you know, smoking reefer or taking a small amount of heroin, let's create a social program where we can get you off the drugs as best as we can. I mentioned Mike Milken for a reason, because they're saying now, the science is showing now, and I'm not saying I'm a drug addict, anybody should be a drug addict, but if you take these drugs, these so-called heavy narcotics in picograms or micro doses, it boosts productivity and performance, and you can see some of the greatest jazz musicians were addicted to heroin, right? So I'm not saying again that anyone should do it, but I'm just saying we can take that approach that the Netherlands takes.
So let me be clear about what you're saying.
Let me just say one thing.
You're saying that in Nigeria,
drug and poverty
I think
doesn't
there's
mix.
a playback
Sorry,
somewhere.
Larry. Drugs and poverty don't mix. If you mix drug and poverty in the context of Nigeria and it stress people, traumatize people, that is a terrible combination. You see what I mean? There are contexts like the Netherlands is almost a paradise. Exactly. So Netherlands is very different context that they live in, and if you look at all the major nations in the world that engage in serious contests for power in the world, they don't allow drugs that the way this in the gas them up. So, and especially in the context of Nigeria, it's a terrible idea to start looking at legalizing it, because there are so many people that are poor that need money to feed. Some of them will be spending.
But you can create jobs for them now too, Niger. No.
What would be your suggestion to Niger?
But to Niger, can't you create jobs if you legalize it?
My suggestion is simply you combat this in the menace. And when we talk about drug menace in Nigeria, I think that's a relatively weird term, because it's not that massive. It's there, but it's not as big as we are blowing it out of proportion. Nigeria is not known as a drug distinct capital, and and there are, according to Queen Nigeria, she says something that is using to gas them up. There are a lot of Nigerians out there, I like to call them angels, that are keeping things going. They are doing good job.
But Niger, you just dismiss the idea of creating an economic power base if you legalize drugs in Africa.
Is not why do people keep talking about economy?
So we can't get a job. So we can't create jobs.
Talking about economy. Economy means nothing. It means just worry about keeping your.
So we don't want them to have jobs.
Strong.
Guess what?
That is not the way to create jobs. You create security. Nigeria. See, let me tell you something. There are only two major things Nigeria needs: create security and create transparency. In other words, allow people to gain control of their state and feel trust, and they trust the state. The rest will fix itself.
But okay, I'll give you an example of what you are doing to Nigeria. For example, now if you go, I'm sure all of you guys have been to Nigeria, right? You go to Nigeria now. They say, oh, we banned Okada, we banned bike in local governments, in certain local governments. Now they've increased it to more local governments. Last I checked, they brought. You know, so wait. Of course, that's the thing. So now they banned the Okada, right? Now, as they banned the Okada, if you want to enter into certain streets when the rain has fallen, they didn't ban bad road though. Now you want to walk, they want you to enter Potopoto to get to your house as you are carrying your shopping goods. They want you to enter Potopoto. So this is the mentality. So what I'm saying to Niger, instead of us thinking like that, in some instances, yes, we have to take that hardline approach. But me, I look at myself, I say, are these people stupid? Create an Okada licensing organization. Okay, simple. You have to wait. Let me finish. You have to get trained. Wait, let me finish now. So, Queen Niger, you have to get trained to ride Okada. You cannot have more than 2 persons. You have to have a specific, you have to go for 2 months training, and you have to pay an Okada ministry in your state. What would that do? Almost all those guys who are, because all those Hausa guys that are doing Okada, that don't know how to read and write, well, you have to find a new job. I'm sorry. Now it's a profession.
Guys,
as best as we
them
can do it. So instead of us banning Okada, and to me sometimes these people, we make this elitist, we
have
come
to
with this
understand why
elitist
they banned
thinking.
it. You have to understand why they
Yes, because of
banned it.
criminals.
Gas them
Of
up.
course,
Yes, because
it
of
is a
crimes.
problem.
Hello, gas them up. I think I'm understanding where you're getting at. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, what you're trying to say is we can ban drugs all we like in Nigeria and criminalize it like the way crack was criminalized because of blacks back then, right? But no matter how we criminalize it, people will still do it because there are ways it can get in. Like, you can be criminalizing something and your borders are porous. They can get it in through, the anywhere they want to get it through into. And then there are not enough jobs. Now, while I understand that personally, I might be a very strong-willed person, what you're saying is most people there, actually get pushed into things like that because of poverty, right? But you have to also realize that there are even rich people who do it as well. A lot of, celebrities and all that. So how would we solve
Well, yeah,
that
I
part
talked
of the
about that
problem?
earlier. I said that if you
Yeah.
go through
So how would
Nigeria,
we
the two
solve that part of
classes.
the problem?
No,
I
again, what I'm
understand the
saying
first
is
part. I
I asked
understand the
that
first part you're
question
talking
earlier.
about.
It wasn't dealt with because I asked that question. I mean, Niger has mentioned using bolstering up security, which is fine. But then I look at a country like America that did that with its DEA, and it's got a whole bunch of like naval stuff that deals with drug trafficking, but they still have a drug problem. So I'm
because
thinking,
what that did, it created a Leviathan.
Remember what the U.S. government did back then is they're also funding these things. They're also the so-called CIA, the so-called DEA are the same people that are working with the Colombia criminals.
exactly.
So
So then,
there's a
exactly.
lot of
So, Miss Ibarra,
there's a lot of what do you
Miss
call
Ibarra,
it?
in
This
regards to what
American
you're
government.
saying, I agree with what you're saying. So if we're saying that about America, doesn't that then mean that if Nigeria has the same corruption within its military, will making the security even bigger make any difference to stop?
No, it won't.
It wouldn't.
It won't.
So because of the race problem that is here, because when they started putting into the black community, and I agree with Brother Amir, I also agree with everybody that says, okay, the poverty is there, you don't have to take it. Our level of trauma is different, right? So if depends on where I'm coming from our home, if I have a stable home, which doesn't always equate the exact same thing, right? I remember going to Ikeja where I have my cousin that used to live there, and I just thank God I was never taken when they were taking all these people. The police, the law enforcement, they will overwhelm that place. Anybody and their mama is going, right? That should have given Nigeria enough lesson to say to hell with it. But people like to take risk, and we have to make sure the traitor among us do not doom us in. Again, with what happened in the United States is quite different from what is going on in Nigeria. Not necessarily different.
No, it's not different though. It's the same.
It is not the Nigerians that are making these drugs, right? What I'm saying is, who are the people making these drugs, and why is it so easy to bring it in? Thank God for those that are doing their job, right? In as much as we talk about corruption, we have to thank. Can you imagine seeing all those bags of? You see all those drugs?
Auntie, let me give you an example of what you're saying. Okay, now when you look at like, because we said the race aspect in America's war on drugs. Now, Shabi, a while ago, everyone said NSAS, they were fighting to NSAS.
Yeah, who
now I tell people this question. This NSAS shouting, most of the youths that SARS were killing, were they from the north? No. How many northern youths did SARS kill? Go to the north, let police kill any northern youth, they will burn down that police station.
Exactly. Okay.
So now, wait, two Niger, wait. I didn't say two Niger, wait. I didn't say they didn't kill any northern person. I'm not saying they have not killed any northern person. What I'm saying is,
I'm trying
to
say that there was one time, and I don't stop when you are not even aware of what is happening in Nigeria. Some people just say spew. I see when I'm on Nigerian channel, they say all this kind of stuff, and they don't know.
To Niger, let me finish my statement.
One day, there was an operation that was carried out against an Islamic group, and they killed 1,000 members.
To Niger. Let me finish, please. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm talking about SARS. So let me finish with SARS, please. To Niger, I know that already. You don't have to lecture me on the ills of tribalism. I support you. Great. Yeah, one Nigeria, and I hope it works that way. But at the end of the day, I have a right to hack back on it if I want to. Let me be a tribalist. It's okay. It's not affecting you. But my point is this, to Niger. Like I was saying, when you make a Larry's point, let's say you strengthen SARS, because I agree with Nigeria, we do need a stronger police and military force. But let's say you strengthen SARS at that point. When you see SARS heavy-handed approach to one specific group or one specific region, right? So it becomes a problem. So like you said, with the DEA, the FBI, the ATF, all these groups, who are they mostly arresting? It's mostly the black youth in the inner city. So at the end of the day, that is why I said the approach can be a mixed approach. Yes, you take a hardline approach to say we don't want drugs in the country. Good, right? Do your job. However, at the same time, if there is drugs, we don't criminalize them. We don't throw them and say, oh, you took glue or you drank tramadol. We're going to put you in jail for 55,000 years. No, let's approach it from a socialist perspective. I hate to use that term, but let's look at how the Netherlands is doing it. And wait, but Tunaja, wait, we can create jobs by doing it, because if you look at the red light district, we can create jobs. Are we saying that, for example, the Christians in Nigeria, the Muslims in Nigeria, they say, Allah Akbar, wallahi, we don't have a shovel in Jesus' name, we don't have a shovel. But in Nigeria now, wait, in Nigeria now, don't we have a shovel? Wait, listen, don't we have a shovel? Wait, and I'm fine. Don't we have a shovel in Nigeria? Yes, we do. So the question is, let me finish, sister, stop being scared. Let me finish. Let me say what I want to say. I'm not scared. Look, we have a shovel in Nigeria. So if we have a shovel in Nigeria, now, okay, good. Do we either say we ban a shovel, or do we find a way to create a red light district? We may not like it.
No, you cannot do that.
Okay. So then we continue. So then we continue having girls hiding in corners. We continue having girls hiding in corners, prostituting themselves, letting dogs defecate in their mouth in Lekki, and doing all kind of things.
Take a look at this. What is good for the West is not always good for Africa. Yeah. Africa must constantly fight their own part. We can't say because somewhere in Europe does it.
I agree.
But therefore, we have to do it.
Yeah, Mrs. Ibarra, I agree. I kind of see where Gas Them Up is coming from. You know, it's trying to. I see where it's coming from. However, we need to realize that we need to stop this mentality where our standard and example is always the West. The same West that oppress us.
Wait,
sister, I don't think you guys are ready to abandon the West, because if we really are ready to abandon the West.
Ms. Ibarra, you mentioned rehabilitation. So are you saying that within Nigeria there should be a culture of building more rehabilitation clinics for people who are addicted to drugs?
So guess this. So for those who are, I'm not saying that you can't punish those that are using, right? There's a delicate balance you have to go through, right? But I'm saying there must be a rehabilitation, as well as I'm talking about in general, Nigeria needs to have more hospitals. We don't have that. True. So what you see that the idea of allowing people to be using drugs, what is about to happen if you continue, when these people start having kidney failure, all this other failure, now you're going to have a level of people where they have all manners of health issues, right? Because that's because the little hands that you take, your brain, right? Your kidney, your liver, all the other things in your body. In a country that we don't have an adequate healthcare yet, right? I'm saying we need to have massive hospitals, healthcare facilities, as well as rehabilitations, right? We need to have adequate nurses and social workers that go to all the neighborhoods to see what is there. We need to make sure that we have.
Well, then I would say, sorry, I just want to respond to Mrs. Ibarra, sorry, Queen Nigeria. So then I would say, Miss Ibarra, you and Gas Them Up are not too separate from what you're saying. You both draw the line when it comes to, I guess, legalizing it. But both of you are still in favor of the rehabilitation, the medical side of things, making it, creating more of that, and putting Nigerians through that who are addicted, So there is a compromise between what you're saying.
As far as I'm concerned, you chop off their head is not an issue for
No, I don't need to chop off their head. I give them a choice. Either we chop off your head or you get this job as a drug, whatever, as a drug rehab specialist, and you are the person that's delivering, micro or picograms of this grade A drug. But keep in mind, Auntie Barra, the only way you can get these things done is two ways. Like I said, power only concedes to power. That is one. And two, Niger doesn't want to acknowledge the point. We don't have the internal revenue. We keep saying, oh, Nigeria, we have money. You guys have to show me the tax. Look, America is built on the US taxpayer and the ability to float bonds, which they call treasuries. That's the magic of the United States.
I don't disagree with that. I complain about that all the time.
So until
but
yeah,
let me tell you the reason what is stopping Nigerians from doing that. Because they don't trust the government. They feel the government are going to run away with their money. Hence why Nigerians don't pay into the state. About transparency. If we get transparency, I keep saying we should need to make government accounts public. It's our money. I don't see why it should be hidden. The only money that should be hidden is defense budgets and for our security.
So Niger, is that in the Constitution? Is that transparency in the Constitution?
That's the law that
that's the problem.
It doesn't have to be in the Constitution.
I agree. No, I agree with you. It doesn't have to be.
How you treat money. The Constitution didn't say anything about how you treat money.
No, but what I'm saying is,
House of legislation that should be able to pass the law.
Yeah, no, but that exactly. Do you think this is what I said to Niger? Look, listen. I agree with you. It doesn't have to be, but the reality is, what do you think the House of Reps or the Senate will pass a transparency bill tomorrow? Because they'll tell you it's not in the. They will tell you it's not in the Constitution.
What you don't understand is that these people, they're also worried about Nigerians. They fear the nature of Nigerians. That's why they gave NSAS everything they wanted before even the protest ended.
Go ahead. Regarding the issue Mrs. Ibarra said, gas them up to Niger. Everybody, even Larry, one thing that ties everything together is corruption. You'll see the hospitals that will help with rehabilitation. The medical doctors are not even supposed to do that. We're supposed to have mental health therapists, social workers, like Mrs. Barra said, going into all the nooks and crannies doing that. But how do we have that when our medical doctors and nurses are not even paid well? You give, and what Mrs. Barra was saying about it's not corruption, it's not just only at the top. You give the hospital a very little budget and you steal the rest. Now, the little budget you give into the hospital, the person on top at the hospital still steals out of it and pays the doctors and nurses very little. So you see the corruption is in both ways. Then in the issue of defense, there's still corruption there. So that is the loophole. So back to what Larry was saying is, in fact, there are different ways we could tackle the problem of drugs and every other problems in Nigeria, but not until corruption is deeply tackled, right? We're not
yes, but Queen Nigeria, where are we going to raise the revenue? See, look, I get you guys. I agree with you guys. We have to talk about proper. No, we don't. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. Look, listen. The fact of the matter is, most African states are technically broke because the only revenue they get. No, listen, we don't want to face it. The revenue we get.
Disagree with you on that. I don't know why you're arguing a point.
No, I'm not talking. Wait, to Nigeria. No, I'm trying to explain to Queen Nigeria because most Nigerians don't realize our revenues come from selling products to the West. If the West were to disappear tomorrow, we don't have any proper way of raising the revenue. That's a fact. If America decided tomorrow, we're not buying anything. If China, if all these, wait, Queen Nigeria.
No, that's them up. Come on.
That's them up. Without Africa, there is no West.
You didn't answer. No, wait. You see, you're not understanding what I'm saying. Again, I understand. Look, we've read Walter Rodney. We know that they need us. What I'm trying to tell you is just pure economics. Think like an economist for 1 second. You're in charge of Nigeria. You can't go in there saying, oh, you need us. They'll just laugh at you. This is what they did to Nkrumah. Let's look at what they did. Wait, Tunaja, slow down now. Tunaja, wait, slow down. Let me tell her. Tunaja, wait. Oh, Tunaja, let me tell her. Let me tell her what happened to Nkrumah. Tunaja, Tunaja, let me tell her. Tunaja, let me tell her what happened to Nkrumah. Tunaja, let me tell her what happened to Nkrumah. Tunaja, let me tell her what happened. To Niger, you are feared. Stop fearing. To Niger, I let you get the way. I'm talking to the sister. Let me tell her. No, to Niger, let me tell the sister. No. I'm talking to the sister. I'm talking to the sister. No, I'm talking to her. To Niger, mind your business. This has nothing to do with you. To Niger, this has nothing to do with you. Mind your business. Let me talk to the sister. You are not the patriarch of the family. You are not the head of this platform. To Niger, you're not the head of the platform. Stop trying to put yourself as a leader. I'm talking to the sister. I'm talking to the sister. So let me talk to the sister. I'm talking to the sister. And then too bad. Let me talk to the sister. You can you said so many points that I know already. Don't be angry. Okay, good. Let me talk to the sister. If you don't like it, too bad. To Niger, that's okay. Then we'll sit down. Diners will close the platform. That's okay. No, sorry. You're not. Nobody needs to do anything. It's called sharp elbows. Too bad, to Niger, you're not in charge. You're not in charge. You think you're in control. You're not in charge, to Niger. I don't have to respect you. I don't have to respect you. You're colonized. I don't have to respect you because you are not respecting me. I'm talking to the sister. I'm talking to the sister and you cut in. I was talking to the sister and I was trying to explain something. Too bad. Let me explain it to the sister. No, I was talking to the sister. You need to let me finish talking to the sister. I was talking to her. You're not in charge. You think you're in charge. This is what you usually do. You think you're the only one that reads and the only one that's smart. Sorry, to Niger, it's not going to work today. Like I was saying, the point is, sister, Nkrumah tried to do the same thing and Nkrumah failed. When Nkrumah tried to do what you are doing, sister, the British bankrupted the price of cocoa. Too bad, to Niger. Sorry, to Niger. Sorry, to Niger. Sorry, to Niger. Sorry, to Niger.
Gazemon doesn't respect people.
I don't respect you. I don't respect you.
He doesn't allow.
I don't respect you. I don't respect you. I don't respect you because.
Please, guys, listen. I have to go. Please. I appreciate you guys for joining. We'll do a part 2.
I wanted to make a point about corruption, and he has made the point 10 times.
I don't respect you.